Three men and a multiverse of sci-fi's finest spacecraft. But which ones can claim to be the greatest ships ever? Welcome to Space Doc Jury.
Welcome to Space Doc Jury episode 10. I'm Lee and I'm bringing the USS Reliant.
I'm Peter and I'm bringing the Derek's Romulan Warbird.
I'm Anne-Marie and I'm bringing Chang's Bird of Prey.
And I'm Andy and I'm bringing the USS Stanley. I mean Excelsior.
Yay! There you go. So that's all our ships, and it's obviously very Trek-flavoured. And obviously you may have noticed that we had a fourth person in there. Anne-Marie, hello.
Hello.
Hello. So yes, Anne-Marie...
We know how much she loves spaceships.
Oh,
every time in the broadcast, she loves the spaceships bit. Yeah. It's going to be awesome.
Yeah, nothing makes her happier than talking about spaceships. Eh, Anne-Marie?
Spaceship.
Sorry? It depends on the spaceship. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
I love talking about cool spaceships, but he spends half his time, you think you're talking about the spaceship, he talks about fucking ready rooms. You guys know this.
This is true, yes.
Well, no, he doesn't talk about ready rooms. We don't let him talk about ready rooms. Honestly, Gov.
Has that mini-sode come out yet or not?
I don't know. I hope not. Otherwise we just killed that. Yeah. Anyway, so I've got the Reliant, and Andy's got the.
Makes me think of a Robin Reliant, and I know it's not the USS Robin Reliant, but I'm afraid when I hear the word Reliant, that's where my brain goes.
Well, exactly. That's what it's got the roll bar over the top for, so that when it goes round corners, it just bowls over and it'll be fine.
Oh, okay, fair enough.
There you go.
I thought that was just a handle.
Yes.
Because it looks a bit like I don't know what they call. You know, they do curling.
Oh yeah.
Powder dry.
Sorry.
Yeah.
You know what it is, don't you?
Go on.
It's the first ever kit bash.
No. This is not a What the Trek episode. Honest. Oh God. So I've got the Reliant. Andy's brought the Excelsior, and then in the green corner we have we have the Deredex with Pete and Anne-Marie with Chang's Wang. There we go. Points scored.
Shots fired, even.
Shots fired. But before we get on with that, we obviously have to run down where we are with the top 10. Obviously, we've got loads of ships now, but let's just run down the top 10. So, guest privilege, it's over to you, Anne-Marie, and give us a rundown from 10 to 1 of the spaceships currently on the scoreboard.
Okay, so at number 10, it's the Statue of Liberty with a vacuum cleaner. It's Spaceball 1 with 54 points. At number 9, but with the same number of points, so I don't get it, it's the Agamemnon. Why is that? I don't understand.
First in, last out.
Okay, fair enough. At number 8, it's the Sovereign from Mass Effect with 56. At number 7, it's the horrible screaming shadow ship with 57. At number 6, it's the Shrimp with 57.
Normandy!
At number 5, it is the fucking awesome USS Defiant with 60.
Go Dustbuster!
At number 4, it's the SSD Executor with 62. And then for our top 3, at number 3, it is the awesome Battlestar Pegasus with 64. At number 2, it is the Borg Cube with 67. And at number 1, it is the Vengeful Spirit Gloriana from Warhammer 40k with 69. Fanar.
You know what, Lee?
Yeah.
I think we've got the wrong org doing this cast, right?
Yeah, I think we have. I think we have made a terrible error in our casting.
It's true.
Funny enough, I was thinking the same thing.
So one of us will be dead by the end of this episode.
4 enter, only 3 walk out.
Yeah, exactly. Welcome to Thunderdome. Right, so there you
And
go.
we'll be playing the part of Tina Turner.
Yes, big hair.
You're simply the best!
No singing. That's the deal.
Nice. Oh dear. Right, well, who lost last time? I know Andy
Usually
won.
Pete loses.
Yeah, oh yeah, that's true.
I think Guess should go first, though, you know?
Ah, yeah, well that's true. That is very true, actually. He says...
I should say, Guess gets the choice. You can choose if you want to go first or second. When would you like to go, Anne-Marie?
Would you like to go up front or come from the behind?
No.
I was going to make a comment about you normally liking to come second, but I want to know.
The thing is, though, if you go now, you can just drink after that. So.
Or if you want...
I'm just thinking I might want a bit more Dutch courage, because, I haven't actually drunk any of my second pint.
So you might want to be jammed between all of us.
Yeah, somewhere in the middle. For now.
Welcome to Space Dog After Dark, ladies and gentlemen, where all the entendres are doubles. Right. In which case, as per normal rules, I guess then it's Pete. You're up first, unless Anne-Marie wants to pick one of us. Who would you like us to go first?
All right, I want to have a few more beers so that I'm hopefully more funny about the USS Let's Go Curling. So,
As opposed,
Andy go first.
Andy go first. Oh, there you go.
Oh, I'm quite happy to go first, but I was going to say we should probably just get the Romulan out of the way because it's the fucking biggest. So, but
no,
that's all right.
Let's get the USS Slipper out the way.
The USS Stanley, Excelsior.
Right, away you go, sir.
Okay, the USS Excelsior, NX 2000, later NCC 2000, was the lead ship of the Excelsior-class Explorer starships, commissioned into Starfleet in 2284. When she was commissioned, she was a prototype for the new fancy transwarp drive, which evidently didn't work, which does make me question why they went to the trouble of building an entire starship before they figured that out. Do they not know about scale testing, prototypes, things like this? But, evidently they have so much resources they thought, fuck it, we'll just throw it together into a ship and call it good. Her most famous commander was Hikaru Sulu, oh my, who commanded the ship from 2290 until 2308. They started working on the ship in 2270 under the direction of Captain Styles, who used to walk around with a fancy swagger stick. Not entirely sure if that was entirely regulation.
It did look like a bicycle pump.
I'm worried if it was something he used to use in his first officer, maybe, in between.
Yeah, he always used to keep it under his armpit.
When he'd had too many beers and a bit
It's entirely possible, but yes, he used to swan around with that. In 2285, the ship was ready to undergo performance trials, and Captain Montgomery Scott was seconded from the USS Enterprise as its chief engineer. Anyone who's seen Star Trek 3 obviously knows that didn't quite go to plan. And evidently, Scotty got out of trouble because he just proved that the whole thing was fucked up in the first place. I do have to wonder, though, did they realise that it was Scotty that sabotaged the ship? Maybe the transwarp actually worked, and it's just because he'd stolen the chips, they just thought, it doesn't work, never mind, and we'll leave it at that. There we go. Anyway, Sulu became the captain in 2290, and they spent 3 years on an extremely successful mission cataloguing gaseous anomalies in the Beta Quadrant. My point is, this was the most powerful warship in the Federation fleet.
It's like, why?
And they send it off to catalogue the gaseous anomalies.
Oh my.
I mean, I can see it during Picard's era, because that's the sort of thing they did. But during Kirk's era, no, you go and stick that off of a neutral zone and say, come on if you think you're hard enough.
Yeah. Just wrong. It looks awesome and does shit. That doesn't work. Or analyses shit.
Yes. Well, anyway. So Sulu and the Excelsior witnessed the destruction of Praxis in 2293. They attempted an unauthorized rescue of Captain Kirk and Dr. McCoy from Rurapente, but they were stopped by Captain Chang.
Chang.
It did play... No, it was Kang. No,
Okay.
It's Chang.
Chang.
It's the Voyager thing,
Let's
which we don't speak of.
That's Chang.
Let's
That
call
was
the
Chang.
whole thing off.
Yeah. The Excelsior did play a role, along with the Enterprise A, in saving the Khitomer Conference and destroying the aforementioned Chang. It gets very confusing with these Klingon names.
Yeah.
Lots of hard K's and C's and so forth. But there you go. Where are we now? The Excelsior continued to serve for many years until she was destroyed in 2308 when she got trapped in a portal to another dimension. Her crew survived there for 11 years, but were finally rescued by the crew of the Enterprise B. And she was replaced by a new Excelsior-class vessel with a registration number NCC 21145 with no bloody A, B, C, or that D bollocks, like they keep insisting on doing it. A bit of behind the scenes here. The ship was first mentioned in the script for Star Trek II, The Wrath of Khan, where it states Kirk was promoting Sulu to be the captain, and he was only on the Enterprise as a courtesy to Kirk. That obviously didn't make the final cut. It then finally appeared in early drafts of Star Trek III. Funnily enough, the person who had final sign-off on the model was Leonard Nimoy as the director of that film, so he largely influenced how it looks. The model was designed and built by ILM. Highly detailed studio model was used in many guest appearances until 1994, when it was refurbished to become the Enterprise B. They actually stuck those extra bits on the side, partly so they didn't end up damaging the actual model. Unfortunately, the glue they used ended up damaging the actual model, so they got stuck with the big wide bits on the side after that. So as a result, they had to build another model when they did the Voyager episode, which then got sold at the Itzerap thing and is currently on display in the Seattle Science Fiction Museum. So there you have the USS Stanley. Excelsior!
Okay, so the USS Upside Down Hong Kong Fooey Slipper. How are you going to rate this then? Shall we get on with it?
Let us do this.
Yeah, let's go for it.
Okay,
right.
So first up, size. Usually the most easily quantifiable one.
Yep.
As with all Star Trek, most of these things are pulled out of people's arse. So I've got contradictory size for it.
Yep.
The most commonly accepted one, and the one I'm going for, is 467 metres long. Although in Peter's favourite book, the Star Trek Deep Space Nine Technical Manual, it does list the
the
length.
one he bought me for our anniversary.
Really?
Yes.
Oh, you romantic bastard,
wow.
you.
there's not a huge amount you can say to that, really, is there?
She was strangely unimpressed. I mean, I got one of the best presents possible in the world, and
For you?
yeah,
Yeah.
that was what she said. Bizarrely,
Yeah.
In any event, so in the technical manual, it lists the length of 511 metres, but most people agree that it's 467. So that's what I'm pitching in at.
So that makes it a 5.
5 on the old
5.
scoreboard.
Okie dokie, 5 it is.
5 it is.
Okay.
So sublight speed, obviously, we're in the Trek categories here. She can do
Impulse.
what's it called? Impulse speed. She can get across the solar system in minutes, whatever sort of thing. So I believe that is a 5.
That is a 5.
It's a 5. Then we're doing Trek warp, which is, let's face it, it's pretty pants in the grand scheme of things. And I believe that gives us a 2.
It does. Well, we're flying through this.
Oh, absolutely. Oh, we ain't hanging around, yeah. It's nice, easy and quantifiable. There's lots of information.
We're going through this at
Maneuverability.
Transwarp.
She's not quite a brick, but she's not like the Defiant or anything like that. No. So I think we're probably pitching somewhere around a 2 or 3 region.
Well, we do have manoeuvrability listed down on our old email of emails, around about 3 for Trek capital ships.
I think that's probably about right, yeah. It's again, they're pretty nifty when they need to be.
Except I did see it in the was it Enterprise nicking scene, and it does just chunder along. It's literally like someone's...
Yes, but you've got to make allowances for the Captain had his swagger stick up his jacksie, so...
Yeah, you weren't seeing it at its best in that, I think it's fair to say.
No, that's fair enough.
I mean, that noise when it breaks down is just... oh, man.
It's the way the Captain kind of leans forward as if he's just passing a wind, and then he sits back as if no one's noticed.
Yeah, he does. All power available.
Yeah, all power available.
Yeah. Exactly.
And then it breaks down and everything like that. Comedy, but we'll come to that later when we come to competency of various crews and so forth. But yeah, I think manoeuvrability about a 3 is probably well. I mean, we gave the Defiant a 4. And, I think it's fair to say the Defiant's more manoeuvrable than this. So.
Yes.
Okay. Firepower. Now, well, we're talking, she's got the usual phasers and photon torpedoes and so forth and all that stuff. She's armed with 10 dual phaser emitters, Mark 6s, and 6 single phaser emitters, and then 6 photon torpedo launchers. At the time of launching, she's pretty much supposed to be the heaviest hitting starship in the Federation, and so forth. I think we're talking she can presumably level a city, and in that sort of neck of the woods sort of thing. But she's not in the same league of things like, the
Enterprise
Star
D.
Destroyers and shit like that and so forth. So
yeah, well, she's not around the Enterprise D mark, is she?
No, obviously
or
not,
the
because
Defiant?
she's about 70 years less advanced.
So you've got to be looking at a 5-ish by our old scale.
Yeah, I think we probably need to redo a new scale, because we've largely taken to ignoring that of late, as things have evolved, such as they are.
But for parity and comparison at the moment, I'd say a 5. Or if you're pushing 6, you're going up to Enterprise D.
I think I'm happy to say a 5, to be perfectly honest. What did we give? We gave the Defiant an 8, didn't we?
We gave it an 8. White Star got a 7, I think.
Yeah. If anything, I'd probably say when we get to the D, as and when and if we get to it, we'll probably put that up in a 7-ish, but I'm happy to take a 5 for the time being. She's 23rd century, not 24th century, so I'll take the 5. Cool. She doesn't have quantum torpedoes and shit like that.
Nah.
So, yes. Active defence, as is the way with all Trek ships. It's pretty much diddly squat, isn't it? Yeah.
Big fat fuck all.
But for passive defence, well, we've got your traditional Trek shields and all that, which are pretty nifty and so forth.
Yep.
She's pretty well built as well. I mean, she took that blow from Praxis pretty well. Got thrown around. And the worst thing that happened was the T got destroyed.
Well, in fairness, she only got through the Praxis bow wave because Sulu's obviously in some past life some kind of surfer dude. Turning the ship into the wave.
Yeah.
Otherwise it would have gone sideways and everything would have gone tits up. So, yeah.
I'm pretty sure it did go tits up in some of those shots.
Yeah, exactly.
Flying out of a bunk bed.
It always makes me laugh with that shot as well, because when I don't know if they've fixed it since with a retake or something, but I always remember seeing that at the cinema, and when the ship goes sort of sideways and backwards and forwards and all over the place, there's a guy who's clearly in the background going the opposite direction to everyone else.
Damn it, Phil. You had one job, Phil. One job, Phil.
Yeah.
There were raptors in the kitchen, Phil. People died, Phil.
Anyway, so we're into Trek shields for passive.
Yeah,
which is 4.
I think, we gave the Defiant 4, I think we gave. And that's got the added ablative armour. So I think probably a 3 for Excelsior.
Yeah, okay. That's fine. Yep, cool.
Yeah. Okay.
Special.
I don't think she's got anything particularly special. She's very good at detecting gaseous anomalies, apparently.
Yeah. The fart-sniffing spaceship.
Captain who just let one off. It just meant that, no, we need to make sure we're very good at detecting gaseous anomalies so we know who the culprit is.
Yeah.
Yes.
Fart analysis spaceship. Nice. So that's a 0.
If that's not worth 1, I don't know what it is. But anyway.
No, it's worth nothing. It's
Where no man has got
nothing.
before.
I can detect farts. You don't need to give me a spaceship score.
Yeah, but can you name the culprit, though?
Yes,
Yes,
because
it's
there's
true.
usually only 1 or 2 people in there, and it's usually me. See?
We're going with the age-old adage of he who smelt it did dealt it.
Yes.
Okay, then.
He who denied it supplied it.
Whoever
Indeed.
did the rhyme did the crime.
Okay, let's stop this now.
Your mum, your face, your mum's face.
I
am rubber, you are glue.
Yeah, pinch punch, first of the month. Anyway, carry on.
So crew complement.
Yes.
Typically a crew of 750 with up to 130 mission specialists for various bits and pieces. Apparently, if she needs to evacuate planets for whatever reason, she can carry 9,800 people. Which seems to me that's a bit tight. That's going to be
in the overhead lockers or something.
It's going to have to be in the overhead. But I think we're talking, we're 750, 800 in her normal complement.
Maybe that bit on the neck that's all black, perhaps that expands.
Oh.
It could be.
More people to fit in.
There's like a zip, like an expanding suitcase.
Yeah. That neck is fucking stupid, though, isn't it? I mean, it is an awful looking thing. It's like someone's just got like the heel of a boot and just stuck it between 2 bits of ship. But anyway,
we'll get to that in a minute.
So what are you asking for crew anyway?
Well, we're talking 800 people. And I don't have a scale in front of me. What's our
hold on,
scale?
800
5,
people is a 5, yeah.
5 it'll be.
Yep, okay. Competence.
Oh, competence. Yeah. And I'm going with the Sulu crew here. Not,
of course you are.
Oh, funny that.
not Captain Styles. I think they're one of the more competent crews, if I'm honest. Again, they witnessed the explosion of the planet. They don't fucking stand around gawping for 5 minutes. They survive that. They report it to headquarters, not thinking they should run off on their own and go and save the day, which is the usual shit. They arrive just a minute at time. Pardon?
Their job's worth.
Their job's worth to get the job done.
And it is worth mentioning at this point that there's this big rushing wave of an exploded planet coming at you, and it still requires Sulu to stand up and go, shields, shields, like they hadn't thought of that first.
Yeah.
Well, I think, to be fair, it was probably just this awe of the, oh shit, that's coming towards us. But regardless of that, I'm still going for, what do we give the old Defiant on that one? We gave a Defiant 5. I think they're equally as competent as old Cisco and his lot.
So you're going to go for a 5?
Yeah, I'd like a 5. No Jonathan Frakes on this ship.
No Jonathan Frakes on this ship. No, but you did have a Tuvok on there.
Yes.
In flashbacks, which he couldn't remember.
Christian Slater. Forgotten.
If that alone is worth a point right there.
Well, actually, you've also got Miguel Ferrier. You got what's his name from RoboCop. The guy. Oh God, Bob Morton, who gets blown up by a grenade on his desk. Yeah, that's got to count for nothing.
Yeah, it counts for nothing. It's fucking RoboCop.
Yeah, I know.
So, moving on.
So you still want a 5?
Yeah, I still want a fucking 5
for a bunch of fart sniffing space people who need to
do
be
their
told
job. Unlike most of Starfleet,
need to be told to turn their shields on.
I'll point out that you're coming up very shortly, old sport. Whichever crew you go for, that ain't ending well.
No, I know it ain't. I'm expecting to go down in flames and leave a lovely planet behind me. Okay, go on then. 5.
Yeah, I think it's only fair.
5. Okay. So
realization is next up, is it not? It is.
So let's just get this clear, because I've been listening to a few old episodes. And the goalposts always shift on Exterior when we do realization. Is it the quality of the model and the way it's presented, or the design of the model?
I think it's got to be a bit of both, does it not?
Yeah.
Okay, no, it's okay, because I've just listened to a couple of episodes, and we all do it, but all the time we go, well, everyone goes, oh, it looks bloody awful, and you go, yeah, but the model is well made. And then,
you got to take
and then everyone
account,
goes, well, the model's well made, the model looks shit, and they go, yeah, but the design of the ship is fantastic. So I just wanted to work out whether or not there was ever a consensus.
Of course not. What do you think this is, the Black Dog?
No, there's no Black Dog consensus on anything. Ever. Anyway, go on. Okay, just question. That was all. Carry on.
Realization. I think this was actually the first. So obviously, Star Trek 3, you've got effectively three entirely new starshipy designs. You had the Space Dock, you had the Orbith, and you had the Excelsior. So this was the first time you'd really seen, because the Reliant, we'll get to it in a bit, but that is effectively a kit bash of the Enterprise. So it was the first kind of whole new one, and I think this was the first newly built studio model. It was. I did write down how big the studio model was. It was fucking huge. Yeah, it's a really well done studio model. I know you gentlemen are not massive fans of the design,
No.
but I quite like
it.
Yay! You're all right, Anne-Marie. You can come back.
Okay, so that's two hosts sorted out. That's Andy and Anne Marie. So it's just you and me, Pete. One of us is not coming out of this.
But yeah, I quite like the design of the model, especially when you look at some of the concepts which were done before that. I'm sure Pete C knows, but some of those were pretty poor. I quite like as well, when you look at it in the context of Star Trek 3, it looks more futuristic than the Enterprise. It looks sleeker. It's more, I don't want to say futuristic since they're all in the future, but it looks more futuristic, more like purposeful.
But it's not jarringly so. It's not like,
Yeah, it doesn't feel like
in a development.
It's not like the JJ Prize,
Mm.
It's kind of like you've taken it's recognisably Starfleet straight off the bat. And again, it got a lot of use. I mean, they used it pretty much all the way through Next Gen with the model. And the design carries on all the way through DS9 as well.
USS stock footage.
The USS stock footage until it gets to later seasons of Deep Space Nine when it becomes the USS CG, along with the Miranda class. Although, strangely enough, it's the Mirandas which always go down in flames. The Excelsior seem to get away with it.
All I'm hearing is blah blah blah. Don't like the Miranda, throw it under the bus. Blah blah blah. Don't like the Miranda, throw it under the bus. Tell me about the model, Andy. Is the Excelsior
it's a
any good?
fantastically well-made model which saw many years of service, was used in lots of films until they finally stuck some stupid bits on the side of it and fucked it up by using resin.
Okay,
Which
so
still, I don't hate that much. It's got a really well-painted Aztec design on it as well. I think it looks really good in Star Trek 6. I think that's when it looks at its best.
Yeah, Star Trek 6 is awesome.
It is indeed very awesome. I think, again, in parity with what we gave the USS Dustbuster, I'm asking for a 5 for the exterior. It's a well-thought-out design, and it's a well-executed studio model.
yeah. On those terms, yeah.
Yep.
For the look of it, no. But
You can throw it under the bus for the look of it in a minute.
Yeah, don't worry.
We're not there yet.
So 5 it is.
Yeah. For the interior, I think, again, we only really see the interior in Star Trek 6. We do see the bridge briefly in 3, which looks pants.
And we see Styles' not ready room. It's kind of his little
bunk.
Yeah. And
his bunk with his swagger stick.
Yeah, and we see Sulu's bunk as well with a young Christian Slater in the doorway. Oh my!
Do you think George Takei specifically requested that scene be included?
Yeah, in fact, they've even got Bryan Singer on the bridge in Star Trek 6.
Do we really?
Yeah,
I thought it was First Contact,
Nemesis.
isn't it?
No,
Is it Nemesis? Is it?
It's Nemesis. You get
What
me?
is it with Lee and Nemesis?
Oh, I don't know.
He's all the episodes when I listen, he says such and such happened, and I'm thinking, really? And it always turns out to be Nemesis.
He's got a massive crush on Tom Hardy, and it's
Nemesis
the only
is a
film he
shit
can
film.
talk about.
No.
in this podcast.
I'll tell you what it is. That was the one I actually went to the red carpet premiere and then got offered a
which
drink
didn't
by
mind then?
Patrick Stewart. Got offered a drink
wow.
by Patrick Stewart, and I burbled like a complete chimp until Danny until Danny Graydon actually dragged me away from a rather confused looking Patrick Stewart while I was going like a complete fool.
At least it wasn't another John Goodman.
No, it wasn't another John Goodman, but it was basically.
No.
I'm sure I told this on. Oh no, it's on the Black Dog, but they recreated at the after show party. They recreated 10 Forward, and so everyone was having a drink in 10 Forward, and I was standing there, and Danny was working for Empire, and he's trying to get an interview with various people, and while I'm standing there, I just got closer and closer to the free drink. And then all of a sudden I heard, "Would you like a drink?" Or "Would you like a drink?" And then, or something like that. I can't do Patrick Stewart at the moment because I've got.
I was going to say it was Sean Connery all of a sudden.
Yeah, I was going to say he started this. Yeah, he started sounding like
Zardos place.
Yeah,
Got very cute.
yeah. Sure. No, but anyway, I heard, "Would you like a drink?" And I turned around and there was Patrick Stewart. But the thing was, I don't know what he was doing or what he was being on stage, but he had a big Uncle Albert from beard from was it Only Fools and Horses? He had this big white beard, and it took me a second to wonder why this tramp was offering me a drink, and then my eyes kind of focused, and I went, "Hey, dude, what the? Yeah, thanks, yeah," and I just made complete and utter fucking arse of myself while Patrick Stewart stood there holding a glass of champagne out to me, and I just didn't take it off him. I was just standing there looking at him, going there, like a complete div. And then all of a sudden, Danny just materialised out of nowhere, got me by the shoulders, and led me away, and just said to something to Patrick Stewart, saying like, "Oh, he's had a hard day," or something like that, and just dragged me off. I think that's why I've always got Nemesis on the brain, because it's like that's my moment where I basically.
It was your Nemesis.
It was the moment.
It tasks
me, and I shall have him. Well, actually, I probably shouldn't say that because that'll get me on a list somewhere.
Probably will do, yeah.
Anyway, so interiors.
Interiors, though, I think, again, Star Trek 6 is largely where we see the majority of this sort of thing. And again, the production design in that film is fucking awesome. I do really like the look of the bridge. They've got that, well, the entire ship, you have enlisted crew are in the bunks. We don't see the kitchen, so that's Peter happy. We don't have to have Huge row about that.
Yeah.
Sulu, he's got his nice little table for his cup of tea, with his branded china there, which is all cool. It's a nice step between the Enterprise A and the Next Generation ships and all that. They've got similar versions of the swing out Colonnops things up on the thing. So again, I think for interior, I'm probably going to ask for a 5. I think it stands together really well. But the later movie era, I think, did the interiors of Trek the best. The Akudagrams all look really, really cool. That blue and green sort of effect's really nicely done. Yeah, I'm going to ask for 5 for the interiors.
Unless Peter or Anne-Marie have any objections, I'm also going to give it a 5 because you know why? It has blue carpet.
Yeah.
It has a flash of colour in that bridge, which every other Trek ship completely avoided, and it had seatbelts.
Yeah.
Seatbelts are cool.
Seatbelts are essential for a ship that's that big, getting knocked about like a toy in a bath.
But then you would think they would think to either have those cups that help stay on tables or an edge to the table so that the whole cup floor thing didn't happen.
Yeah.
You think Sulu should have had a cup holder, is what you're saying?
We should be using one of those futuristic glasses like used on Deep Space Nine with a wide base.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking actually, yeah. But then they hadn't been invented yet though, maybe.
And
it was maybe that, and he's a bit of an old-fashioned bloke, isn't he, old Sulu?
Point of order, though. Point of order. If gravity is being generated by the ship,
yes,
when it gets hit and it lists and the cup of tea falls off, why does the cup of tea fall to the ground in a way that looks like it's been knocked off? Because it
would you like an in-universe answer, or would you like the actual answer?
Well, I know the out of universe answer because it's in Black Dog Book 1, page 1,
exactly.
line 1.
Is that one? I believe the in-universe answer is in moments like that, it takes a moment for the inertial dampeners to compensate for the change of direction of the ship, which is why shit like that happens.
Okay. Yeah.
Because shut up, that's why.
Yeah, that's more like it. That I believe.
Yeah. But yeah, so for interior, I would like a 5, please, sir.
Okay. Well,
I mean, my only caution is that you don't see an awful lot of it.
Yes, but what you see is well done.
Yeah, what you do see is very well done. So
we see more of the interior of that ship than other ships we've had in this cast in the past.
True enough.
And blue carpets.
Yeah.
Definitely worth it for the blue carpets.
All about the blue carpet.
If it was
all about the blue carpets, apparently. Okay.
Yeah, well, the thing is, there is no other Trek ship, even including my beloved Enterprise E, which has anything close to to interesting colour or personality on the bridge. It's just a flat grey wall.
They all should have had the carpet from Pages.
What?
Don't you remember it was blue?
Sticky covered in fag butts.
They should all be carpeted with that. It's awesome carpet. I want it.
Sticky covered in fag butts, sweat and desperation. smelling like the air conditioner in Forbidden Planet before they changed it.
Oh god.
So the carpet design, not that actual literal carpet. The carpet design. That's what they should all be having.
As you walked along through Pages, it used to go.
It did, actually.
Off the bottom of your shoes.
That was quite nasty.
Well, that's probably the bridge of the Excelsior after a few cups of tea have spilt everywhere.
Yeah,
that's true. True.
After Christian Slater's turned up in the bunk
Oh.
bed.
Oh my.
Although, did you notice that where it's built on the floor, that's obviously like a work surface rather than a leisure surface because it's that kind of grippy, rubbery black stuff, isn't it?
Yeah.
So they've actually thought about what's appropriate flooring for a work area.
Oh, there you go.
The captain's chair as well seems a lot more practical than ones we see in the original series and even Picard's one later on sort of thing. It just feels like a chair you could spend a lot of time sitting in.
No. The Picard's chair on the Enterprise E, which had the...
I was saying the D, not the E.
Right,
but yeah.
Sorry. No, I was going to say, because that also has those, Batman's Batmobile shields that come across like a belt. But anyway.
And let's not forget with the Enterprise E, you get the emergency Thrustmaster joystick.
Yeah, exactly. You can't go wrong
Let's
with
quickly move on to science, please.
I thought it'd gone awfully quiet for a second.
Go on, anyway.
All right. Well, we're in Trek science, which generally speaking is relatively well done. I mean, there's a certain amount of shut up, that's why, but they do try to explain it. And again, pegging what we've done with the Defiant, which was the Defiant the only Trek ship we've done so far? I think it is. But
yes.
I think we gave 4 for science, so I'm probably pegging about the same sort of thing. It doesn't really do anything that's space magic, effectively.
No. No, except for transwarp drive, but it never uses that. So
Yeah, they say it doesn't work. So there we go.
Yeah, that's fine.
okay,
So cool fact, and then we get the Monty Python thing. But anyway,
and
moving on,
we don't have to give it 1 anymore, do we? We've already agreed.
No,
that.
you can give it 0 if you want.
Good.
Wow, that's spiteful. Anyway, I'm giving it 4 because I think it's a damn cool ship. I really like the Excelsiors.
I think it's awesome. I give it 2.
Yeah, Marie, you're cool.
Pete?
I think it's fair to say that 2 will be a theme from for this one for me. Cause
It's almost like you've got a thing for Trek ships, isn't it?
funny that, isn't it? Yeah.
Well, I've got to be honest. I've got to give it a 0 because I don't like this design at all. I really don't. It's even the Reliant, which we're going to get to with kit bashing and stuff. But the thing with the Excelsior is it's got a tiny saucer on a massive long body. So it's all over the place. It's almost like the bloody, what's that stupid one, the USS Fugly Bollock, the Daedalus or whatever.
The Pasteur,
The Pasteur, where it just doesn't feel like it's all in one bit. And just like the Pasteur, it's got the fucking square arms holding on nacelles that are super overlong and look like novelty dildos. It just looks like it's been designed.
I like novelty dildos.
Shut up.
That's the second pint down.
Whose idea was it to have her on this?
Dude.
Well, obviously this is as we say, the cool factor is subjective. There are no wrong answers.
Yeah.
However, in this instance, you're wrong. But I'll take your 0. Fair dues.
Well, in fairness, I mean, the thing is, right, I would almost forgive it for the stupid little tiny saucer with the big brick on the back for the impulse engines. I'd almost forgive it for the novelty dildo warp engines, which just seem like they're like 25 feet longer than they should be. But the secondary hull just looks like an upside down slipper, and I cannot get past that. And then the neck just looks like the heel of a cheap Marks and Spencer's suit boot, and it's just like awful, really bloody awful. And then when they stuck the little wings on it for the Enterprise B, it just made it look even more like someone was just like, just throw it together. No one's going to look at that. It was just toss.
Oh, I agree. When we got to the B, I'm not a huge fan of the stick-on bits. They stuck fins all over it. The excuse being it would look more futuristic.
Yeah, go faster fins.
But yeah, that's the B. And I really disagree with you 100% on all of that. I think you're wrong. I think you're just completely wrong. But as we say, there's no wrong answers when it comes to the cool factor.
Yeah.
So.
Well, the thing is, I tell you what, I would even. I mean, because there's a lot of that's wrong that I hate, and that is in the Ambassador class. And yet, the Ambassador class, I give more of a pass to because I actually like big saucers. Pardon the phrase.
Whoa! Let's pause. Let's just take a couple of steps back.
Yeah.
Can you just repeat that for everyone listening here?
I like big saucers, and I cannot lie.
No.
Other mothers can deny.
Have you been hanging around with Brian fucking Leagate? Because that's the only thing I can think. Has he gotten to you?
No.
That must be.
No. He's
the
not.
Ambassador class.
He's
Jesus
Christ. He's not sitting here with a gun at my head. No. I've been asked to read out this following prepared statement. No, I'm not a fan of you listen to what I said. I'm not a fan of the Ambassador class, but where I give it a pass over the Excelsior is it has a big saucer, and it makes the ship look more Trekish.
The only thing I can think of is if you're looking at and admittedly shit renderings you get in like where you do the comparing the other Enterprises and everything like that. You look at the ship in say the space dock scene in. What's it called? Star Trek 3, of which I'm going to send you a picture right now.
Don't. You're not convincing me.
I'm not going to convince you.
It looks like a breakfast. It looks like a breakfast pancake.
That's the Reliant, isn't it?
That's that. Yep. No. Yeah, that's fair enough. That's actually that's probably the best image of it I've ever seen. Because do you know why? Because you can't see the secondary hull looking like a shoe. And you can't see the stupid nacelles going off into the horizon, and you can actually see that the saucer's got most prominence because of the way they filmed it.
Look, like the Enterprise D, there was angles of this ship which don't... It's not like the Enterprise A, where every angle on that ship is fucking gorgeous. You cannot take a bad picture of the Enterprise A. That's not true of the Excelsior.
Well, actually, you can. Star Trek 5 proved that.
Oi!
Taken. Good point, well made.
Please,
Thank you.
Don't talk about Star Trek 5 with him.
Yeah.
Please, just no.
Yeah. Anyway. Yeah.
You know what? Whatever.
Hold on.
Moving on.
Hold on. I will just to finish it all off. Just to prove my point. Right? Just to prove my point.
Right,
Yeah.
Yeah.
There you go. Get hold of that. I know it's not official model, but
That's the study model. And
whatever.
that's pretty pants.
Yeah, but look at the size of the saucer compared to the body.
Yeah, but again,
It's like someone has put some toenails on the end of an elephant. It's just a fucking little tiny thing. It's like someone's got a little tiny saucer plate and then given you a foot-long baguette. It's like it's just not a good-looking ship. It's not.
Horses for courses, sir.
I absolutely agree.
You're clearly a saucer man.
I am. It's all about
clearly a fucking Philistine.
It's all about the size and the roundness.
See, whereas I'm about the lengths and the girth, you see? It's just a gender difference.
Exactly. And what fires out the end. Yeah, and whether or not you see it coming. Anyway. So, there you go. Well, that's the first of our trick ships out the way. And, right, here we go. Here's where the scores will go wonky. But I have a total, currently for the USS Excelsior of 55.
Yay!
Yay! Which actually puts it in with a bullet at number 9 on our chart.
Yep.
Knocking out Spaceball 1.
Oh, well done, Andy.
I think you should get an extra point just for that.
Well, it would do, but then that would put it above Sovereign, and I can't have that. That will not stand. Anyway, so...
I was going to say. You go, sir.
No, I was just going to say. So who would like to go next? Shall we have something from the green corner?
Before I get too drunk.
Yes. Okay. Get Chang's Wang out.
Yay! Fanar. So... I'm going to have to ask Peter to help me to go through the scores and whatnot because I'm not used to doing that.
Pardon the phrase.
I'm sure that'll be a hard task for him.
It's hard something, I'm happy.
Pardon the phrasing, but I suspect nobbling may be in the office.
So, the actual model, you see it in Star Trek 3.
Mm.
And it was supposed to
comedy
be a
film.
Romulan ship, although it makes no sense.
Well, it's a warbird, as in the original series Romulan Warbird, and it has a bird painted on it. They were originally going to make it a Romulan ship.
But to me, it doesn't say Romulan.
That's because you've got used to it being Klingon.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've also got used to Romulans being like proper, like your Didirex and more actual birdie.
That's because you're not so familiar with the original series.
No, because let's be honest, the original series is a bit hit and miss, isn't it?
Yes, it's 2/3 miss, but anyway, let's carry on.
Andy,
Okay,
Andy.
Anyway.
Andy, should we go down the pub? Just let them carry on arguing.
Way ahead of you.
There's some stuff here that makes people like him happy that I don't normally give a shit about, so I'm just reading his lines.
Okay.
The model originally had movable wings, powered by motors, but over the passage of time they stopped working. That's relevant. Why?
Of course it's relevant.
To...
The fact that they stuck down in that kind of slumped-shouldered kind of look.
Quite a bit of Next Generation.
Okay. Yeah, but this is Chang's Bird of Prey.
Yeah, we're just talking about the model generally.
No, but Chang's Bird of Prey, it is established in Star Trek 6, which is awesome, is a prototype, one of a kind. And they have to establish it because later on, birds of prey can't fire when closed. It was a prototype that was lost. So it's unique, it's one of a kind. It's not just a general, any old bird of prey.
Well, if you move on to the stuff about the bridge, that's more specific.
Yeah, interior, yeah, because that's important. Okay, anyway. Apparently the bridge conforms to the by then standardised look, minus the periscope.
Periscope.
They had that for Lurster and Beta had a periscope.
Yes, it
didn't they?
came back for Generations. So it introduced in 5, that amazing film. And,
It's not amazing. Shut up. It's shit.
Not used in 6, but back for the Duras sisters in Generations.
Yeah.
That's also a shit film. They're odd they're the wrong numbers and they're film. Was wrong.
Yeah.
Chang's bird of prey never went near a periscope or a joystick or any of that bollocks.
Oh, it did have a big steering wheel.
I'll tell you what though, it didn't. I'll tell you what, it didn't have. It didn't have dry ice and citronella candles, unlike other Klingon ships. Home-based citronella candles. Sorry, carry on.
No, it didn't.
No.
Okay, hang on. I've got to see a picture of this steering wheel because we watched Star Trek 6.
You don't actually see the steering wheel itself, but what you do see is the helmsman, and you can see him turning it. It's bizarre. I wonder what that action was. It wasn't until I looked on Memory Alpha. And
are you sure that's what he was doing, was turning a wheel?
God help us if it was something else.
Or that Shakespeare in the original Klingon was making him horny.
Yeah, it's possible.
Okay, right.
And that's just about the original model, so you're not going to be interested in that.
No, because it's not Chang's bird of prey. Because that's the one I'm doing.
So why do you like the model then?
What? Right. Why do I like Chang's bird of prey?
Yes.
It's a combination of, I think, 4 things. So I tend to like ships where the ship is an integral part to a story and kind of has a story to tell of its own.
Mm-hmm.
I like ships that are what I suppose you could describe as in-universe different. So Chang's bird of prey can fire when cloaked. That's in-universe different. The White Star, which I like, he doesn't, he's wrong. The White Star is in-universe different because it's a little ship that can open its own create its own jump gates. Yeah, I like anything that's like that. I like phallic ships. So, you know, I'm gonna like that. I mean, to be fair, I do like the bird of prey as a model generally, but I don't like the one with the daft hat.
What? You're talking about the battle cruiser, aren't you? With that
like
one?
the Kronos one?
Yes.
It looks a bit like like a balloon with a hat on at the end.
That's they got the old-fashioned
the D7s.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't like them. They just look like the end is a balloon with a hat on, and I don't want that.
So you like phallic things as long as they don't have a balloon on the end?
As long as yeah. Wow.
They're going to take you to see Morris dancing anyway.
There's an insight into your sex life we really all didn't need to know.
Fool the one who's got bells on it. Anyway, let's...
Yeah. So, but I think the other thing I like is, to me anyway, it looks menacing. And I don't know how much of that, if I'm honest, is the score that you get in the movie, because that's like a proper score and everything, but... and the crew, whatever, but everything to me comes together and says that ship is a threat. And ships should either be a threat or just awesome in some other way. And
I think a lot of it's down to its captain quoting Shakespeare.
That helps, yes.
And the best thing is the bolted-on eye patch. Because when we watched it, our daughter actually went, well, why did he do that? Wouldn't it hurt? And it's like, but he's Klingon. It's just, it's a statement, you know? It probably does cause him permanent
He was forever
pain.
losing it, and he was like, fuck this.
So, yeah, I like it for lots of reasons.
Uh-huh.
I don't tend to like any one spaceship for the aesthetics alone. Personally, anyway.
And it's worth saying, I persuaded her just to do Chang's Bird of Prey on the basis that over the course of various series the ship isn't very consistent in its size, it has to be said.
And it has stupid things in it occasionally.
To the extent that they start inventing different classes that are supposedly different sizes, but clearly they're just the same model scaled up and down.
It's like, for Attack Wing, I've got, I think now, 4 different subtypes of bird of prey. Seriously, they're ever so slightly different colours, and one of them's slightly shiny. I mean, the models are the same, and yet they're called something different.
Nice.
So if we stick with Chang's, at least then we can be consistent over the
But
scoring.
also, Chang's, I like it because it has that in-universe uniqueness of being able to fire torpedoes when cloaked.
Cool.
So for me, that's an extra thing of why I like it.
So we're using the stats for the Burrell class, ultimately, because that's apparently what Chang's is.
Right.
Yeah, you're none the wiser now. Are you?
No, not really.
It's the sound of Klingon crickets in the distance.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's the sound of dong, bells, tumbleweed.
If it's Klingon.
Windmill on the platform of the station.
Yeah. Water dripping on a cowboy's hat. Right. Anything else? Size.
You're going to have to help me out with what it means for scale. I can give you measurements, but I don't know what they mean. So it's
Right.
130 metres wide, and you go, I know you go with the biggest measurement, it's wider than it is long, Fanar.
Really? It looked quite narrow from where I'm. Sorry. And it's not doing well for girth. Yeah, basically, what did you say it was?
130 metres.
That's one.
130 metres. Yeah, that's one. Size 1. Right? Okay, so we're on to sort of speed now. So what you're doing for speed, I think we're going to all be the same on this one. But
It's Trek, so it's all going to be getting the same.
He
Well,
says sublight 5.
he says sublight 5. Okay. Yep, 5 it is. No arguments there.
FTL 2.
FTL 2. Again, no argument there.
And then it's very manoeuvrable.
Mm.
Partly, I would argue, because it's smaller.
Yes.
So, a 4.
A 4.
Which is equivalent to what we gave the Defiant, which I think is fair.
Yeah, I'm happy
Yeah,
with that.
that's fair enough. Yeah, cool. Okay.
Okay.
That's a good...
Firepower.
Yes.
It has photon potatoes, as our daughter calls them.
Yep.
And it has 4.5 disruptors, and it is built to dish damage out. But you've got to remember it's original series, so it's built to do damage, but it's not going to be doing as much damage as the Defiant or a Galaxy class because it's however many 75 or something years before then.
Well, it took a while to get to do anything to the Enterprise, didn't it?
Yeah, I was going to say, it shot through the dish.
Eventually.
Saucer, sorry.
That was about five shots in, wasn't it?
Yeah, it went through the shields. Then it was 2 or 3, wasn't it?
There was 3 holes in the dish.
Yeah.
No, but I was saying there's quite a few shots before it gets through the dish.
Yeah, it takes the shields down and then it goes
shields
through
out
the
first.
superstructure. So it's a little less than the Excelsior, I would have thought. So I would have given. Well, I mean, what are you aiming for, or rather, what's Pete aiming for and telling you to say?
A 5.
The tops.
5.
He's saying
no.
I mean, it's difficult because I know I can't do this because you've had discussions on the cast where you said no, that's not where it comes in. But I would argue that firing when cloaked means it's more powerful because you can't see it.
That'll come in later under special, believe me.
Yeah.
But it's.
I would.
put that under defence, though, don't you?
I'd have thought it's probably more a 3 or something like that because it's more it's supposed to just kind of pick away at things. It can't. The Excelsior's got 6 torpedo banks and can just kind of lay fire down, and we saw that when it was finally opening up. It's like pow, 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 pow.
Yeah.
Whereas Chang's, it's much more. It fires a shot, repositioned, fire another shot. I think 3's probably. I don't know what we've got.
3 is Y-wing and bombers. I think it's more than that.
I think
4 then.
Yeah, I think four's about right because even when at the beginning of the conspiracy, when it takes out Kronos 1 and knocks out its shields, it's still like 2 shots.
Yeah.
So again, even when there's no shields down, nothing going on, and the ship's completely defenseless, it still only basically cripples the ship with 2 shots.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think 4. I'm afraid.
Cool.
Defense.
Defense. Apparently, you give 1 now for manoeuvrability.
Yeah.
And it is a manoeuvrable ship.
Yeah, that's fair enough.
And then passive is 4 because shields.
Yep, Trek shields. Though.
We just gave the Excelsior 3 for that. Then,
I was going to say, arguably, it didn't even actually have...
Oh, no, okay. No, fair enough. If it's the same era of Trek, it should be the same. Yep,
cool.
I agree.
And
special, you've got cloaking device,
which is
1.
Yeah.
But then you've also got the fact it can fire its torpedoes and remain cloaked, so that's 2.
Yep.
Because an ordinary bird of prey would be getting 1 for special, and this is Chang's bird of prey, which should have 2.
Chang's Wang is special.
Yeah, Chang Chang's Wang works even when you can't see it. Works in the dark.
Stealth Wang.
Stealth Wang. That's number Wang. Number Wang Chang. Anyway, right, carry on.
Okay, now that bit, by the way, the special thing, I understood that. This next bit, again, it's just what he's telling me.
Yeah.
It's got a flight crew of 12, which apparently equates to a score of 2.
That's about right, yeah, because it's like 1 to 5. 1 to 5 is 1.
Yeah.
And then upwards from that is, I think, 6 to 25 is 2.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that's
So,
2. Yep.
DOS?
Yes, DOS.
Then you've got crew competence. And you've got the fact that Chang has persuaded people in the Federation to act against the Federation, to act as moles. You've got to torpedo this. You've got the fact that Chang has orchestrated a plot that is not only, without the Excelsior, would have brought about the end of Kirk and the end of Enterprise, would have also brought about the end of the Khitomer Accords and therefore the end of the Federation.
But they
So
are...
I am arguing for a very high crew competence on that basis because it's only the combination of Kirk and his skills and Sulu on the Excelsior that ultimately, well, the crew of the Enterprise and Sulu on the Excelsior that outwit him. So that's 2 against 1.
All I'd say is he did stand there for an awful long time,
staring
not
at that
raising
missile
his
coming.
shields
Yes.
when he could have been doing that.
Yeah, instead he'd much rather give out a nice quote. Party
Yeah,
is
be
such or not,
not
to be.
to be.
Yeah. Do. See, it's the Hikaru Sulu thing again. It's like I've seen something coming. By the way,
Euphemism.
I think I should mention something, except where Sulu actually says shields, even though
But
it's
you
like
were
this.
taking the piss out of him for saying what should be obvious.
Yeah.
So therefore Chang must think it's obvious and he's perfectly entitled to quote Shakespeare because
Well, then
his
his
crew
crew's
should
not
be
very
raised to bloody
competent.
shields.
Yeah, but
And
his
his
crew's
crew's
not
even
very
less
confident
competent.
to turn the
Exactly,
shields
that-
on.
That's still
Decloak and
knocks
turn
your
the
crew
shields.
down.
Yeah, that's not. And all these people who are part of the conspiracy to bring down the Federation, they're not on the ship. There's only
Yeah,
there's
Some
two.
of them are. Some
there's-
of them are on
there's-
the ship.
There's
who are
two.
involved.
One of them is Chang.
Yeah, Chang. The rest of them are out of work WWE wrestlers. and
And Odo.
and Odo, who's not even on the ship.
Yes.
And they
Curler's on the ship, isn't he?
no, he gets knocked out of the
The window.
out of the glass window by a very
No, that's
fat
not
out of
Curler,
That's not
somebody
Curler.
else. That's Odo.
That's Odo.
Yeah, I was just saying, Odo's another one of the
Yeah.
conspiracists.
yeah. That's what he said.
Bottom line is, I don't think you can argue he's a legendary crew because
But he has an eye patch bolted to his face. He is awesome.
Well, I was going to say, there's another one. He didn't realise you could use an elastic strap.
No. Yeah, he's gone directly to the Medcalf DIY option where it comes to putting on a piece of clothing. It's like, yeah, I'll just staple it to my face.
Something else which I think is going to hurt his competency is he was doing a lot of showboating. He could have pretty much destroyed the Enterprise quickly, but he liked the sound of his own voice, flying around, taking his time, being a little bit cocky with it.
But it takes a massive egomaniac to think that it's possible to bring down the Federation and what he doesn't like in the Klingon Empire and Captain Kirk in one fell swoop.
Yeah, but that does
Somebody
equal
who was
competence.
less of a showboat wouldn't have even tried.
Okay, so we got one bloke who may be competent, isn't competent enough to ask to raise the shields.
But you
And
said that Sulu shouldn't have had to say shields because his crew should have known. So you can't argue that's Chang's fault.
Yeah, okay, so the other 11 people didn't raise the bloody shields.
But they
Still
still
crap.
very nearly
But-
brought down
yes,
the Federation and the Enterprise.
But they
and,
didn't.
and the Klingon
they
Empire.
got shot to buggery low. Let's face it.
and not just slightly shot to
Think of
buggery.
what? Think of the planning and the cunning that went into hiding underneath the Enterprise in the first place and firing those torpedoes off.
Okay, how about another thing? If the bird of prey is as manoeuvrable as the Defiant, and let's assume that we don't have the shields on because 11 people forgot to press the button
You
that said
can't
shields.
have the shields on while you're cloaked.
Well, then decloak. Everyone knows where he is. The missile's coming in. They all know it. They're all watching it come in for at least a minute and a half while he has his soliloquy. What about steering out the way? What about actually turning that big Captain Bird's Eye wheel at the front of the ship?
It was designed to home in on gaseous anomalies. Was it effectively a guided missile?
Yeah, and you can't try and outrun it? Or at least...
Not easily. Not unless you're like fighter type class, not a ship that big.
Or maybe
It's
just
small compared to the
staring
Excelsior,
at
but it's not a fighter size.
Okay, I'll tell you what. If someone comes up to you and is going to throw a punch, right, and they do it very, very slowly, even though they are going to punch you, and there's very little chance of you getting out the way, will you dodge or will you stand there and go,
That
to
doesn't
be
work.
or not to be?
It's a trajectory missile. It doesn't work with a homing missile, which is what McCoy and Spock have rigged. It's homing in on the gaseous anomalies.
Well, if it was a competent
homing
crew,
missile.
If it was a competent crew, they would
I-
have turned the
hang
engines
on.
off.
here's another one. Right? If it was a competent crew and that thing is only homing in on the exhausts, fly behind the Enterprise, and it's going to go to that. We saw that in Hunt for Red October, even.
Yeah.
You know, it's just.
They don't know that's how they've been found. They don't know.
But
Well, then they're not very competent.
Yeah. The bottom line is there is an awful lot of standing there staring at the view screen whilst the torpedo's heading towards
12 people.
guided or not.
Yeah, 12
It is
people
guided.
and 12
Fact.
people and 12 people in 2 minutes, and no one can think of bringing up the shields, moving out the way, turning the engines off, or
Moving
anything.
out the way won't work. I've told you that. Bringing up the shields is a different conversation. You have to decloak and then raise shields, which takes time. But yes, you could argue that perhaps that they should have had the time to do it. But it's two actions, whereas in a Federation ship, it's one action. Raise shields. It's two actions for the Klingons: decloak, then raise shields.
Okay, and as far as just the whole moving out the way thing.
Won't work. Guided missile.
Yeah. Okay. So fighter pilots, when they get fired at, they don't release
It's not as
countermeasures.
small and as manoeuvrable as a fighter. It's
I
bigger
think
than-
it should have 3.
Shut up. I was enjoying that. Fight. You see, the thing
Yeah.
is, this
No,
is.
I can put that music
Yeah,
on.
we have the Trek fight music. At the
Yeah.
Oh,
point.
no, don't you worry. That's going on there.
By the way,
Followed by, at the point when we
Awesome.
finally decide on the score, you're just going to get.
to be or not to be? That is the question. Do you think that all the guys sitting up the back are going, "Oh God, this is the last fucking thing I'm going to hear on this earth. Please, someone just go kapla." Big shoe.
So we've got a 5, we've got a 3. I'm going to say 4 just for a quiet life.
Yeah, this is the best bit. This is a bit like having kids, where you can kind of like shake them up, fill them full of orange juice, and then send them back to the parents. I'm going to go for 3. Because I think Chang was good. The other 11 were a complete bunch of numpties.
Which other crews have got 3? Because at the have you
The White Star's
reduced
got
the Red
3.
Dwarf
Yeah, the
crews
White Star
to
got...
zero?
The
White Star, that's fine.
The Agamemnon got
Okay.
3.
No, that's okay. It sounds
Red
more
Dwarf got 0. Yeah,
that's-
we've addressed the Red Dwarf question.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
Slave 1 got 3. And the
Fireball XL5.
Yeah. The SSD Executor got 2.
The Borg got 3.
Borg got 3. Yeah.
No, okay.
Practically invaded Earth and they got a 3, so...
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, fair enough. Okay.
Against my protests.
Yeah. Anyway,
Moving on.
So, exterior. This is going to be our longest episode ever. This is
Yeah,
brilliant.
it is, isn't it? I thought it's going to be really short, but no.
No.
Oh, God, you've been married to me for nearly 20 years and you thought this episode was going to be short.
Fair enough.
Well, anyway, moving on.
So, exterior.
Mm.
I love this. I think it's awesome. I think it's a really good model. And I really like the effects, particularly when it's firing when cloaked. You kind of get like that sort of shadow effect.
You just like
And
the
it's
big red
sort of
end.
there and sort of not.
Just like the big red end.
Yes. Yeah, so the red end glows as it fires.
And and what comes out of it is white, which is just awesome. And it's firing from the business end. Yeah. Awesome.
This is going to be the first episode I have to put the explicit tag on, isn't it?
I haven't dropped C-bomb yet.
Not yet. We're working on it.
So now
Pete's coming along shortly, don't you worry.
Yeah, once we get to the Deredex, we'll be all over that. Okay, well, so what are you going for? A 5?
Yeah.
Andy? Because I'm not getting involved yet. I'm going to let you take some flack.
I'd rather hear what Peter thinks first.
I always thought it's a cool model, well realised. I'm quite happy with 5. He says for sitting right next to her.
I was going to say, there's no bias in this at all. Yeah. Andy?
Yeah, just on the strength of the model and the design, I've got to give it a 5. I take umbrage with the whole it changing its size every 30 seconds, but since you were clever and you picked Chang's bird of prey, you get a pass. So yeah, you can have your 5.
Yeah.
Well, the thing is, he's making out I've been clever for reasons of thing. For me, it's just it can fly when cloaked. That's the one I want.
Oh well, yeah.
The only other thing I was going to say was the reason I was going to give it a 4, and the reason I was going to give it a 4 was because the realization when it gets shot by the 2 Federation ships. This
is an excellent point. When you see the string,
you see the string.
You don't on Blue.
Oh well, but on the cinema you see quite clearly the string, and you see it bob about like someone's actually flicking the wing that's just out of shot. It's like it's dangling like a mobile.
Yeah, the effect. What's even more unforgivable is they then go and reuse it in generations.
Yeah, it's clearly being held by a piece of string just behind the base of the shaft, and it's being flicked about by someone just off of camera flicking the wing. The model is fine, but that bit and someone badly superimposes an explosion over the top. But I will go with 5 because the steely cold silence is telling me I've overstepped a mark. but I would just like to protest that is a terrible explosion and the ship rights itself.
If you want to fight for it, mate, I might be swayed.
Yeah, because I think.
Have you seen it on Blue?
On Blue who?
Blu-ray. Have you seen it on Blu-ray?
No, Oh wait, yes, I have seen it on Blu-ray. No, I haven't.
I saw it on Blu-ray when we did Undiscovered Country on the Black Dog. But the fact of the matter is, whether or not you can see the string,
it's still a shonky explosion.
It still wobbles left and right and sort of bobs up and down. It literally bobs on 4 axes.
That's not the execution of the ship. That's the execution of the explosion. You can't see a string on Blue.
Because they cleaned it up.
There's a difference between the execution of explosions and the execution of the ship, and I'm arguing that the execution of the exterior of the ship is awesome. I'm not trying to argue that that what they do with explosions is awesome, because that's totally separate. That's I don't know what you'd call it, but that's a cast on explosion effects or some shit. I don't know.
Pyros, they're called. Andy, shall we just keep this going? Maybe send a message to Pete through the text.
Well,
we'll stop this for a small donation.
I was going to say I found a video of the explosion, which we can all now review. If you take the video I've just sent to 4 minutes and 40.
4 minutes and 40. Okay.
4 minutes and 40.
4 minutes and 40. We're going to 4 minutes and 20.
Okay, and remember, you're not concentrating on the explosion. You're concentrating on the realisation of the ship
wobbling left and right.
That's not the issue. You're looking at the ship, not the explosion.
Yeah. Okay. Wobble. Here we go. Oh, here we go. Fire!
The guy's
wobble.
himself.
Wobble.
Rather than wrecking the shield.
Yeah.
That's that shot when you've got the Enterprise and the Excelsior and it's kind of shaking left and right.
I quite like that, to be honest.
It looks like Impact. Yeah. Helmet's still intact at this point. Oh, no, it isn't.
And then the helmet explodes. Oh, dear.
Yeah. We've all had that. Anyway.
Yeah.
Okay.
I like the shaking. I think it looks cool.
Like the impact of where the hits have come from.
Can I just ask a quick question?
But you can't see the string in Blue anyway.
Can I just ask a quick question? If you're in space and you push something, does it stop moving?
That's science. We haven't got there yet.
No, but it is in terms of this realisation, because it doesn't just...
It's exterior realisation. Science is a separate category. I'm looking at all spreadsheets. Exterior, interior, science. We haven't got to science yet.
Welcome to the Relate podcast. Anyway, okay, I'll tell you what.
Give him the 5.
Give him the 5. Yeah, you can have it.
Thank you.
But it was entertaining. Anyway, okay, interior.
Now, interior, This is where, if you start throwing numbers at me, I'm not going to argue, because interior is something I genuinely couldn't give a flying fuck about.
Okay.
Just generally on spaceships, I just can't. So apparently it's a reused set, been in use with modifications, but there isn't the shitty periscope. So his spreadsheet says I should ask for a 4. But seriously, there's no point in trying to wind me up on this front, because I am somebody just personally couldn't give a flying fuck about interiors.
No, I'll go along with 4.
I'd have said 3.
Really?
Yeah, all you see of the bridge on that thing is his chair and the bloke behind with the wheel. You don't see anything. And as he says, it's a really
Actually, you know what? If it's got a wheel, I mean, really, can we find any evidence that it genuinely has a wheel? Because isn't that shit?
It does have it has a helmsman who has to turn the wheel standing behind.
Really?
I mean, and the thing with Chang is he's like sat right in front of a view screen.
So the guy with the wheel can't even look out the window.
It is. He's looking out the window. And you've got someone to the side who just presses this button on the wall to fire the torpedoes.
Oh God, yeah, the button on the wall.
Yeah. I'm 3 as well. I'd be for it.
Okay, 3. Yeah, yeah, I think 3.
Torpedoes on the ceiling.
Yeah.
I mean, don't get me wrong.
No.
It's cool that because he's meant to be a Shakespearean, villain almost sort of thing, and he's got his throne there and all this sort of thing.
All the bridge is the stage.
Yeah, it literally is the stage.
Wow. Yeah, no, I'm going with 3 now. The more I think about
that's
it.
fine. That's fine.
Yeah. Yeah. I was giving it 4 purely because it's the only Klingon ship I know that doesn't have dry ice and home base garden citronella candles filling the area for Klingon rituals. But
if you want a good Klingon interior, I'd argue for, although I don't like the outside because it's a balloon with a hat on, the inside of Gorkon's ship in Star Trek 6. I think that's a well-realised interior.
Yeah, absolutely.
100%. That's a very well-realised interior. And if we'd seen even a hint of that on this, we'd have been saying, yeah, it's worth a 5.
Yeah, but I'm not arguing for that.
No.
Okay, so science.
Science.
Here comes the science.
I mean, I'm not being funny, but cloaking devices, really?
Yeah.
Don't say that. No, that screws me up.
No, I'm just being honest.
Yeah.
Also, can I just ask a question, Pete?
Yeah.
And I'm directing this to you, Pete, right?
Yeah.
It can't fire its torpedoes when it's cloaked, right?
Yeah.
Now, my understanding of the way torpedoes know about work in Star Trek is they're effectively self-propelled. So all it's really doing is opening a door and kicking it out. So why can't it do that when it's cloaked?
Ooh.
Basically, the idea is you can't fire when cloaked.
Oh, I can see you can't fire energy weapons.
The phases make sense.
Yeah,
you're
that makes
diverting
sense.
energy to your weapons.
No.
But
Right,
the photon torpedo doesn't require so much energy.
No, it's not about that. What you've got to imagine is like a form of force field, where that force field is deflecting anything sensors can detect, which is why it's undetectable. I think it comes up in Deep Space Nine. I could be wrong. It might be a Voyager episode or something. I could be wrong on this, but I know it comes up somewhere at some point that they later find a way to detect cloaked ships by the fact that there seems to be nothing there. In other words, it's deflecting everything.
It's an absence of even background radiation.
Right.
That
And
was
this
in,
comes in
Nemesis,
much later on
Oh,
in Trek.
shut up.
It comes into the thing as a way to detect a cloak. So if that's the way a cloaking device works, then opening a door is going to stop it working. It's got to be 360-degree seal thing.
Yeah. Actually, no, you are right, Andy. It is Nemesis, complete lack of background radiation.
It is. But I'm just all I'm saying, and we see Chang's Warbird. It's able to fire the torpedoes, and it's only the torpedoes. We never see it fire energy weapons.
No.
Because when it fires them, the glow of the weapon illuminates the ship as it's coming out the tube, which is a really cool effect. It's very, very cool. But I just don't see why they can't do that anyway. It's like a submarine launching a torpedo. It's just like, once it's out, it's off on its own, doing its own little thing. There's no more interaction.
Yeah, but that
with the
brief
ship.
moment when it's out would reveal it.
Yeah, but it would reveal it for the time it takes to open a door, kick it out, and close the door. It's a lot quicker than decloaking, firing, and then recloaking.
Yeah, but you've given away your position, haven't you?
More so than decloaking, recloaking? It's...
Yeah. Especially when you have to do that wibbly, wobbly, jobbly...
Yeah.
Scooby-Doo thing, isn't it?
Yeah.
It is. It's like Wayne's World. We've got to go back in time.
Without getting too into it, I'm afraid if we are doing we can't take points off for cloaking device, unfortunately, because unfortunately we missed out completely the fact that the Defiant had a cloaking device on it, and we gave that a 4.
Oh.
It's true, but I've recently been listening to the very excellent broadcast. I don't know if anyone else listens to that. It's a very good cast.
No idea what you're talking
But would
about.
you believe it? One of the presenters on there did point out that apparently you can run the Defiant with a crew of about 4.
No.
I'm not
Let's
saying
not
we
go
go
there.
back and amend scores just now. All I'm saying is...
It's not the usual crew compliment.
All I'm saying is... I'm not saying anything. I'm just saying.
If you go down that road, when you do
That
the
way
movie
lies
Era
madness.
Enterprise, you'll be in so much trouble.
Well,
Oh, you mean when I can use it with 2 chimpanzees and a trainee?
yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah,
The thing is, with the Defiant, and this may well, I'm not saying it only applies to the Defiant, but the Defiant is designed for different things to other Starfleet ships, right? Your crew complement is going to be dependent on what it is you want the ship to do. If you're going into a combat mission, you are going to need a higher crew complement to make everything effective, because they know that one of the things about the Defiant is that it's too powerful for a ship its size, and it has flaws and it has problems. If you're going into a combat mission, you're going to need a higher crew complement.
Shall we drag this back to the Bird of Prey?
Yeah, I was just winding up Peter because it's fun. That was all.
Fair enough. In terms of science for the Bird of Prey, my own thinking with cloaking devices and stuff, and you're free to disagree, but cloaking device is stretching things, right?
it's away with the fairies.
Right, so, and then to say that it's fine to fire a type of weapon when you're cloaked, but not any other kind of weapon, is actually stretching things even more.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know what your basic for science is, but I'm kind of like minusing 2.
Well, we gave the Excelsior 4, so on that basis, we'd be giving this 2.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You happy with that,
To
chap?
me, that seems
Yeah.
fair.
Because
Well, I think 3 is probably much more fair because 1 is away with a fairy space magic,
Okay, it's not that bad.
and 2 is things like the Cygnus, and
where
it's like
bits work, but the rest is just complete bobbins.
Yeah, I think 3 would be what I'd say to pitch him at.
Okay.
Yeah.
You've got other ships to compare it to and stuff.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah,
fine.
yeah.
The only thing I'm going to ask about with cloaking devices, because I know we got this coming with the Deridex, and for people who are expecting an hour and a half in the podcast, they're sorely out of luck.
Sorry, this is me.
No.
That podcast, sorry.
If the cloaking device is effectively a shield, an energy shield, which removes and deflects everything, isn't that actually a shield? In which case, that torpedo coming straight through Chang's window wouldn't have hit.
I think it's supposed to be bending light around it.
Bending
I don't know how
light.
it deals with everything else.
Oh.
But I think it's supposed to be bending light
In
around it.
space.
Which
Nice.
Yeah, it's
EM Spectrum?
yeah, potentially. But
Bending X-rays. Nice. Oh, yeah. I think it may well be 2 on the science now.
I
Because we're bending every conceivable of radiation around it. Yet somehow it manages to give off something that you can trace.
well, I will yield to the floor. I just said 3, but I'm happy to give it 2.
I'm starting to think 2 because it contradicts itself.
This is where I'm going to have to ask you guys to decide, because you're going to have to bring in references to other ships and your tables and shit that you have
Yeah, I can't.
and maths.
I'm just looking at our table. We have an awful lot of 1s for science.
yeah, we do. I'm actually really upset that Thunderbird's 2086 has got a 3 for science.
Oh God, yeah.
That fucks me.
How the
right
fuck did that
off.
happen?
I don't know. I'll give it a 3 based on. I'll give it Chang's Bird of Prey a 3 based on that alone.
Yeah.
Right, it's getting a 3. Fuck it. Cool factor. So, Anne-Marie, you got 4, and we've all got 2.
Yeah, unfortunately, she's gone to the loo.
Ah, fuff. Okay, should we
play
do
some
it?
intermission music at this point?
Should we do it? No. Let's just
Yeah.
as long as it's not.
Well, we
a
know
number-
she's going to give it 4, so we
Yeah.
can take that.
Yeah,
as read.
I think
Yeah.
that's a fair bet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we know she's not going for a number 2, so
Yeah.
so. So, Andy, what are you going to give it on a cool score?
No. One of you guys could go first. I'm still mulling this over. I'm pondering.
Go on, Pete. Well, she's not there.
I love it. So too.
Okay. I'm going to give it a 1 because I've never liked the Bird of Prey. Ever.
I'm thinking a 1 as well. I don't mind Chang's one and mostly this is because of Chang, because he's cool. But yeah, I hate the Bird of Prey.
I think it's a horrible design, and it looks like a pair of bollocks from with a big, long, thin cock on the end.
I think it was all right if it was just used in Star Trek 6 and maybe once or twice, but every Klingon ship is a fucking Bird of Prey.
Well, not everyone, but a lot of the time, yeah.
It's
It's the grey Ford Mondeo of fucking Star Trek.
It's just... It is the Dacia Sandero of spaceships.
Yeah.
We were assuming you were going to give it 4 for coolness.
Yeah, it's awesome. It can fire when it's cloaked. Of course, it's awesome, and it's phallic and stuff.
Okay, well,
Love the things. Awesome.
Well, at the end of that epic round, Chang's Bird of Prey has Chang's Wang has a grand total of 46.
Yep.
Which puts that absolutely nowhere in our top 10 at all.
But above Slave One.
Which is fair enough.
It's above the X-Bummer, which is fucking important.
The X-Bummer.
Ship. It should not have anything like as high a score as what you got it as.
Yeah,
that is absolutely 100% true.
Yeah, that we need to go back and give that such a kicking. But yeah, maybe one day, maybe we'll have a.
We'll have to do a special revisit at some point.
Yeah, some of these. Yeah. Yes, I'm looking at the scores now. There's a few there that I'd change, but anyway,
I'm sure there is. Yeah,
quite a few actually. Right, okay, so there you go. So that's 55 for Excelsior, 46 for the Bird of Prey, and so who's going next?
Peter.
That's it. Yay! Peter's going to go next with the Deredex.
Yeah, the old warbird. Splendid stuff. Okay. So, introduced dramatically at the end of Next Generation's first season in the neutral zone, one of the few highlights of the first season. Replacing the original series' Romulan Bird of Prey, because yes, they got there first. Designed to be the equal of Starfleet's Galaxy class. It was originally going to have a vertical profile, so where the nacelles are at the moment, it would actually think about them being above and below the main body of the ship. But they felt that was rather too out there, and admittedly, it would have looked less bird-like, so fair enough. Rendered in a fantastic model, and later on Deep Space Nine in CDI form. Uses a... No, science isn't going to do well with this one. It uses a forced quantum singularity, i.e. a mini black hole, as a power source.
Science.
Is that sensible?
I will call it mini black hole.
Yeah, the science is going to be away with the fairies.
Indeed you do. It's equipped with the infamous Romulan cloaking device, of course. These babies were twice the length of a Galaxy-class ship. Sometimes they were equipped with disruptors, sometimes with phasers, depending on who wrote the script. Whoops. Ship also has photon torpedoes, complement of shuttles, and a tractor beam. The interior-wise, the bridge designs varied considerably over the course of Next Generation Deep Space Nine, but that's not necessarily a problem, because consider how much the movie Enterprise bridges varied over the years. And there's a sort of Romulan style that it remains consistent to in the similar way that the Klingon ships will have a style that they...
You mean the Klingon ships are always lit by red lights?
Yes, that sort of thing, yeah. So it's probably the most I would argue, after the Enterprise D, it's the most impressive model, certainly of the early years of Next Generation, until you get the Borg cube, arguably. Originally, of course, the big bads were going to be the Ferengi.
Oh, yeah, don't.
And they quite quickly realised that wasn't working out, so they basically said, oh, quick, what we can do? Get the Romulans. And they did a bloody good job, I think, in designing a brand new Romulan ship, which has lasted all the way through Deep Space Nine, as an appearance in Voyager. So it's fairly reliable. Shall we throw some scores at this, he says, trying to hurry things up.
Well, no, we can take our time.
Yeah, we got all night.
It's in the wheel. Don't stop me on that.
You've got him singing now. You've had it.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, and now after this is where you start singing on the piano to Anne Marie, and we just draw a veil over the whole thing and just come back tomorrow.
So size then. Oh bugger.
Yep.
1,041.65 meters. You got to love Trek exactitude, haven't you?
Wow. 1,000 meters or above.
Which makes 10 in my book.
Yeah, that's a big fat 10. Nice.
I didn't realise it was that fucking massive.
Yeah.
But it is mostly hollow.
That explains why when we're playing attack wing, you can't move it because it just sticks out too much.
Ooh, and the ship. Nice.
Moving swiftly onto speed.
Go faster! Go faster!
No! Get out.
It's all nose and no no mind. Anyway, carry on.
It gets a 5 for impulse.
Yeah.
It gets the 2 for the warp.
Yeah.
And manoeuvrability wise, it's quite nippy considering its size. Actually, I reckon
It's a brick.
No, it's a brick.
it's not a brick.
It's a
is.
It's an
brick.
ornate brick.
Even
but
when
it's a
you
fucking
see
brick.
that, even when you see that in a fleet battle, that thing just sits there like a brick.
Yeah.
Chunders along, and you even by your own admission, in bloody attack wing, it can't even turn.
No.
There you go.
Yeah, not very
It's
well.
not a brick.
It is a
No,
brick.
come on. You
It's a
get
big green
your
brick.
Romulan fucking ships from fucking attack wing, and you look at most of them, and then you look at that one. There's a fucking massive difference as to how many green manoeuvres it's got and what it can do on its dial. I am here. I am here. You cannot win. Give up.
Yeah. At best, we're giving for maneuverability a 2, I reckon.
I think that's fair.
Yes.
I don't. I think 1.
Hard luck. We've gone with 2.
2.
I think it's probably best described as a manoeuvrable brick.
A brick on roller
Thank you
skates.
for that.
You realise it's not until I think Deep Space Nine you even see the thing moving. It just it appeared in front of the Enterprise and sat there.
No, that's not true at all. And I hate to bring this up, but it skips all around the screen in Tin Man. But I really don't want to dwell on Tin
that's
Man.
the one with the fucking shit in it,
It is
isn't
the
it?
flying shit one.
The
Yes.
space shit.
No, seriously, to make the effect of one of the ships, a guy had a turd and took a photo of it.
Nice.
Used that to make a model of a ship.
Gom2.
Gom2.
Let's
yes.
move on.
Are you going to
Which
include
is
that? in-
eligible, by the way, for your cast. If ever he was looking for a
Flying shit.
absolutely
Shit
ship,
ships.
could have Gom2 because it requires a crew, because it's gone mental because it hasn't got a crew.
I'll be
Wow.
taking that next week then.
Yeah. And we'll be doing the. Well, never mind. Don't. I was going to say no. Just carry on. It's good. Carry on.
Firepower.
Yeah. This is going to be
It's supposed to be
interesting.
at least equivalent of a galaxy. It's at least 6.
Galaxy cast. Yep. I go along with that. Though we never
Yeah.
actually see it in a fight. To be honest.
It's
Except-
very,
not
very
off.
good at abducting Starfleet shuttles. We know that.
Yeah.
So, you see, they know that people in Starfleet go to conferences.
Now you tempted me to add an extra on to special for that.
Yes.
God, no.
Abduct people from conferences.
No. No. Okay.
Defense, active 0.
Yep.
Passive, it's got Trek shields for 4.
Yep.
Special, it has the cloaking device, it has a track beam, and it has armed support craft, so that makes 3.
Excuse me.
Have we ever seen an armed support craft?
Armed support craft?
Yep.
Excuse me. Baking powder?
Yeah.
No, it has armed support craft. It's featured. Which one is the Deep Space Nine episode where they have the shuttle go over to, which is taking? Oh yeah, it's a fake man.
I was going to say it's a fake episode, isn't
Yes.
it?
It's just
Yes.
a shuttle. All
Yes.
shuttles are armed.
Yeah,
Well, in that case, then every Trek ship suddenly gets one more for special.
Yeah.
well, not every Trek ship, but quite a few. I mean, the Klingons don't carry any.
Well, then the
support.
Excelsior's getting an extra point for that because its shuttles are armed.
Yeah. By the
Memory
way,
Alpha has spoken.
by the way, it is worth mentioning that I'm on the Reddit Daystrom Institute Reddit page, and they've actually got a thing called the complete failure of the Romulan Deredex cast, because we've only ever seen...
Please link me to that thing right now.
20 Deredex warbirds have ever been seen in the series, and 10 of them have been destroyed, and 2 of them have been unaccounted for. That's over
it is worth noticing, by the time you get to Nemesis, they've just said, you know what, let's just move on.
So that's a 60% mortality rate in those ships.
I think crew competence might be reflected in that.
Also,
Actually,
why are we
yeah,
giving
that
the tractor
was
beams
borne
a
out
special
in
again?
Face of the Enemy.
Actually, yeah, why do we think tractor beams are special?
I don't
Yeah,
think tractor beams
actually,
count.
Why? What help?
No.
And I don't think we've actually given anything a tractor beam.
I think the
focus
closest
today.
we got with any of that sort of stuff was with the Borg cube, where the Borg cube basically had a beam that held the ship in place while it
It
fired.
was more of a cutting beam.
No,
than
that was
tractor
it.
beam.
It had a cutting beam that went with its tractor beam, and the
Yeah.
two worked in tandem.
But that's what I'm saying. That's where I think it came from. That's where I think the whole tractor beam
And
thing
then if
came
you haven't
from.
got the cutting beam that goes with the tractor beam, you can't really argue that a tracting beam is defensive, can you? Really?
Fine.
Yeah.
Just let me update my database.
And I also, I'm just going to say,
Sorry.
I just
He's
got
going all arch on you.
no, it's fine. He can go arch all he likes. He's been sitting there for hours next to you in fear of death. So I think he's allowed us. He's allowed a little bit.
That's his love.
On with it. Yes, get on with it. Get on with it.
Oh, good lord!
So that's one for a cloaking device.
yeah, you could, yeah.
No. Apparently, tractor beams no longer count, so I can't.
No, tractor beams don't count. Only if they've come with a weapon
Supposed to be the
attached.
quick bit.
Oh God, one for special.
Yes.
Yes.
Fucking hellfire.
We could almost given it 2 on the grounds that, when it appears before the enemy, they die laughing. But
Yeah, does look like space chickens
where
in a
we
mirror.
up to?
we're up to crew.
Crew,
So that should be fairly easy to establish.
thank God.
Still looking at the right ship. Yes. Crew of 1,500.
Wow, hold on. Where's that on the score? That's a 6 for crew. Nice.
The skill on the other hand,
Yeah, I was going to say, this would be a fun one.
Yeah.
they
Go
are
on.
generally outwitted by the Enterprise on a regular basis.
And
They're supposed to be very cunning, but they always lose.
And even funnier is they don't even notice when a new person turns up who looks remarkably like Deanna Troi, claiming to be a member of the Tau Shiar, and they go, yeah,
Or
okay.
strange- Or strange aliens who want to live in the black hole in the middle of the ship.
The black hole.
Yes. So definitely the best I'm asking for is a 2.
You shall have it.
Yeah, I'm not
Okay.
being mean. I'm not going to be that mean to you. It's
I was,
certainly
gonna
better
say,
than the
I was
Planet
worried
Express
for a
crew.
minute and it was going to be demerited to a 1, but a 2 is about right, I think.
Yeah.
Okay, on to hopefully happier ground. I love the design,
Yep.
and it's very well realised as usual with this Star Trek model work.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm asking for a 5 for exterior.
I like this ship, so I'm happy to give. I think it looks really good and very well realised myself, so I'm happy with the 5.
Yep. I despite his Mr. Whippy nose, yeah. Yeah, I'll go along with that. 5.
Yeah, I much prefer Andrew Probert's original design with the tall version, but
But it doesn't
can't
look
fault.
like a bird. That's the problem with that one.
then don't call it a warbird.
They do.
Call it a Dederedex. Or
They
a
do-
Durex, as
that
we're
one-
now dubbing it.
Right. Okay, so 5 for exterior. What about interiors?
Well, we do see an awful lot of sets, thanks to that episode which you referenced, actually, with Troy in it, Face of the Enemy.
Face
You
the
see an
Enemy, yeah.
awful lot of the ship. And they keep a very sort of standard style for Romulan ships.
Mhm.
So I'm asking for a 4 for that.
I don't have a problem with that, to be honest. What about you, Andy?
You see, the problem with the Dederedex is because it's kind of Spaceship of the Month or whenever it showed up. I don't think there's a consistency on it. I mean, I'm just looking on the Memory Alpha page here,
Yeah,
which
4
has
different versions of a
4
bridge.
different bridges, none of
But
which look
again, you've
anything
got
like
at
the
least
other.
3 different versions of the Enterprise bridge in
Yes,
the
but
movie.
they all have to a certain extent you look at it and you instantly go, yes, that is a Federation Starship bridge. You can instantly do that. I'm looking at these and I'm like, apart from the massive shoulder pads in their 80s power suits, I I haven't got a clue. I mean, the first one, he's got some beige, orange and green lighting thing with a smoke generator going off behind him. The next one, she's
Borrowed
on
from the
fucking
Klingons.
The next one, she's on a stage at a rave or something like this, with a grill overhead. The next one, I don't know, it's got blue walls and beige consoles in front of it. And the one after that looks like something out of the Jem'Hadar. I'd be saying more free-ish myself, but I will go with the consensus of the group.
I mean, yeah. I mean, I take Pete's on this. I mean, I do get your point, Andy, totally. But again, it's that whole thing of different ships. It's always presented as different ships, different jobs, and the Enterprise looks different.
All I'd say is though, with the Federation of the Klingon ships, it's a well-designed aesthetic, and that's largely lazy on the Klingon side. You stick red bulbs in there, and you're good.
On a smoke machine.
That's what they do, and a smoke machine. They've never really gotten that with the Romulans, though. It's with the Romulans, it really just, and I think that's just largely down to the fact they've never been used consistently for any length of time. I mean, the Cardassians, they've got a distinct look, largely because of Deep Space Nine. It's browns, it's those kind of curved windows and everything like that. You see anything Cardassian in Star Trek, and you instantly know that's a Cardassian ship.
They do everything in threes as well, which helps.
Yeah. Whereas with the Romulans, they never established. They got it in the costumes just because they got these shit fucking shoulder pads.
Yeah.
But the ships themselves are completely. What's the word I'm looking for? There's just nothing which says to you this is a Romulan ship from the interior. Every one, it's just set of a week.
I'm not sure that's true, actually. There's definitely a consistent colour scheme, greens and browns.
I'm looking at one here on that page, which is purple and blues. And then I've got red and beige. And then I have green doors with brown walls. And I've got another one which has got yellow walls. And that's just on the Memory Alpha page. That's not me going looking for stuff. That's just the David Eridex page on Memory Alpha.
Yeah, I'm looking at it now. Bridge of T-Box Warbird. Then there's the Bridge of Hakonia, which looks more like a Klingon thing. Then there's the Bridge of the Kazara, which is the one from Face of the Enemy. And then there's the Bridge of the Lovox Warbird, which looks like someone's just taken a Deep Space Nine set and just put an extra console on the front.
And I know you're only asking this because it has a ready room. Because I'm seeing now it's got a ready room.
It does have a wardroom, with an observation lounge, again seen in Face of the Enemy. And again,
but you look at those. You look at those four images there. Right?
Yeah, I grant you the first one is very different, but then again, the first
No,
one...
I'm not even talking those four. I'm saying if you go down to where it says ready room, ward room, engine room, procedure room, right?
Yeah.
Do any of those look like they're on the same ship? Like just from
it's all
colour.
the same colours in each and every one. Brown and green.
Have you had your eyes tested recently?
Brown and green.
I might suggest doing so.
I do like the fact that the engine room
as a TARDIS console.
Yeah, I was going to say it's a TARDIS.
The primary colour scheme aboard Warbirds was distinctively beige
and green
and grey-green or teal. So it's beige and either grey-green or teal.
So beige like the Enterprise D.
Yeah, but with green.
And you've got your two choices of green, right? And your grey-green would be the ready room one, and the teal, because that's a blue-green, would be the other one. Memory Alpha uses the word distinctive.
Memory Alpha uses many words.
Yes.
Are actually in the lexicon of men and their use. All I'm saying here is it's Star Trek. I mean, so obviously we're working to a budget, but I just feel that, like I said before, with the Cardassians, with the Klingons, with the Federation, with them, you can look at any ship, any set on those ships, and instantly know what ship it is. Whereas if you look at one of these sets without the Romulans walking around on it, you'd be hard-pressed to know what ship it was from. It could be a Romulan ship, it could be a Ferengi ship, it could be...
You said Ferengi ship.
Yeah.
Can we find pictures of the interior of Ferengi ships to do a comparison?
Yeah, they're all orange.
Yeah.
And they've got those weird balls everywhere.
Yes.
R2-D2 things.
Yeah.
Which
So
again
you know
tells me that
Ferengi
even
ship.
Ferengi ships, you can tell, you know.
I mean, it's only the colour scheme, but the colour scheme does stay the same throughout.
The problem is that some of these pictures I'm looking at now, I mean, especially the Derek X from Deep Space Nine, where it's clearly it's clearly the USS Voyager, and they've just put some Deep Space Nine stylings on the front consoles.
That would be the Tau Shiar ones. That's supposed to be different anyway. It's a different class. That's not the Derricks. That's
It is the Derricks
it's on the
class.
page.
It's on the page. Lovox Warbird.
The ones they. No, I'm thinking. Sorry, I'm getting myself confused with the Cardassian ships. That have the two different.
The Derricks class, Lovox Warbird, brackets, Constitution class sets. So it says Constitution class sets. So they've actually taken a standard Trek bridge and just given it green lights and some funky console.
It's very funky.
Mm.
The thing is, I can only go on what I see written or what other people tell me with interiors, because I just don't pay attention to them as a rule. If I'd seen, like with Star Trek 6, we watched it literally only a few days ago. So talking about interiors in that context, I can do. I haven't seen a Romulan warbird of any description recently enough to be able to comment on it, because I'm not interested in that sort of thing personally as a rule, and my memory doesn't retain it. So I can't comment on it, really. I've just got to go with what stuff says.
Well, I mean, okay. So Anne-Marie, go on. You as the person who's got the least invested in this bit, go on.
Yeah.
What would you call it? I mean, given what you've heard now, you go between 1 and 5, and it's all about.
One is. Can you give me a comparison?
One is like a hand-drawn spaceship drawn in the comic, where it's basically
the Button Moon ship scored 1 for the interior.
Yeah.
And we just gave USS Excelsior 5 for its interior
because it looks consistent and lovely
The
design.
Defiant
and well
got 5.
put. Yeah.
What's got a 3?
The 3 we gave to the Endurance from Interstellar. We gave it to the Planet Express ship. We gave it to the Borg Cube. Got 3.
Yeah, the Borg Cube got 3. Normandy got 3, but you won't.
The
know
Icarus
that.
2
Icarus
got
2
3.
got 3.
Slave 1 got 3.
Yeah.
See, I think 3 is where it's just not distinctive enough, and it's not as. Again, we just gave Chang's Warbird 3, and that was basically solely on. We only saw very little of it, but the little of it we saw was,
But
It was recognisable.
Yeah.
You see a lot more of a Romulan warbird.
But it's
Yeah,
not
but if it's
consistent.
not recognisable, what's the fucking point?
Yeah, that's kind of the crux of what I'm saying.
So,
I'm not accepting anything less than a 3. So
No, I'll go with 3.
excuse me, you're not in charge just because you're sitting there in front of your fucking computer. I've said 2. I think the others have said 2. I think you're taking a 2, aren't you?
I was asking for. I was saying a 3.
Were you? Oh, I'm saying 2.
Oh dear.
Well, we'll throw this one back to you then, Lee.
3. Look, there's a monkey. Run away.
Oh no, Kirk, you cannot get away.
God almighty, I'm really fearing for my round. I really am. Oh, for God's sake.
So that moves on to science then.
Yes, it's got a black hole in the middle of it. 2.
Yeah, fuck off.
Yeah,
Yeah,
definitely.
2.
Okay, hang on a minute. You've got to bear in mind that I'm not a regular on this cast.
Right.
How
I could
can
change.
something with a black hole in the middle of it get as high as 2? Surely that's totally fucked up and 0.
It's got a 2, but it acknowledges that you can get problems playing with that sort of thing, and
Yes.
Okay, so it's fucked
it's consistent in its bullshit.
up in the universe, and so therefore it's recognising that it's fucked up.
Yeah.
Let me give you some context here, Anne-Marie. We did Zero X a little while ago, which is a completely impractical ship, which makes no sense, but it crashes all the time. So we gave it a pretty good score because it's a completely underpractical ship, but it did crash a lot. So
Fine. No, get it. Fine.
yeah.
Yeah.
Similar.
4.
Yeah. Similar. What? Cool.
No, you can have 2. Oh, are you on the cool bit? Are you ready? Are you? Oh.
Yes.
Yeah. So science has got 2.
Yeah.
Cool has got. What's it got from you, Pete?
4.
Andy?
You get nothing.
Nothing.
No,
Wow.
I do not like the Derricks class. I don't like. It would have been cooler if it was tall, but they went for the wide thing. It's fucking useless. It's bland. It's mostly empty space.
Bland? The man who brought the bloody Excelsior is calling this bland?
Your time will come. my friend.
I've got no illusions of what mine's going to end up with. But wow, okay, fine. No, as you said before, it's completely subjective. So you're going to give it 0.
Yep.
So it's 4 at the moment. What are you going to give it, Anne-Marie?
I'm giving it a 2. I think it looks awesome.
Okay. And I'm going to give it a 2 because I think out of all the ships we've done tonight, it's the coolest by a fucking margin, by quite a margin. Because it's big, it's imposing, it has a character to it, to its style,
doesn't it?
It's lovely. It's not a ship you're going to readily forget. And
Well, especially if you're on a shuttlecraft on your way to Visa.
well, yeah, exactly. If you're on a if you're on a shuttlecraft, you're never going to forget it because it's basically going to blot out the sun. But yeah,
Right before it abducts you.
yeah, exactly. So that's a 2.
Wait! I've just figured it out.
What?
Guys, you keep going on your cast all the time about why are they always taking the Defiant to these symposiums?
Yes.
Well, see, if they took a shuttlecraft, they'd be abducted all the time, wouldn't they?
What?
Yes! Yes!
You see?
Awesome. Thank you, headcanon. It's coming in the next
There
one.
you go. It's the only way they can make sure they get to Earth
you.
without being abducted.
Yes.
Fuck's sake.
Makes sense now.
Right. Okay. Well, there you go. Well, there you go. Well, that's just shocking. Here we go. In the top 10, the Pterodux Warbird has got 56.
Woohoo!
There you go. Which means that it's actually at number 9.
Yep.
And Excelsior has moved down to 10.
Oh.
Oh.
Oh no, it's knocked out the Agamemnon.
The Agamemnon is gone.
There since episode
I like the
0.
Agamemnon. I can't say it, but I like it.
Yeah. But Agamemnon. Oh.
Sorry. I'm about to pull my 5th point. Pronunciation isn't easy.
Well, that's fine. That's understandable. Ah, right. There, but for the grace of God, go I. Here it is. My turn.
USS Curling Iron.
Oh, God, here we go.
You weren't expecting to find me here.
Yeah.
Let's face it, when it comes to the soundtracks for this episode, Lee's going to have the best.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I want a point in
Well,
special
I
for that,
really like
especially.
Star Trek 6 one, so I'm torn.
Right. I've got to brace myself for this one. Right, because it's just... Okay, right, fine. The USS Reliant, NCC 1864, was a 23rd century Federation Miranda-class spaceship operated by Starfleet in 2285. The Reliant was commanded, briefly, by Captain Clark Tyrrell. And while under his command, just so you know, the prefix code was 16309.
Sir, our shields are falling!
Raise them!
I can't!
At least the prefix code wasn't 12345, which would have been on the Enterprise.
Yeah.
111111 Alpha. Oh shit! I've set off the self-destruct as well. So anyway, in 2267, the Reliant underwent a layover at Starbase 11, where it was seen being repaired in the original series of all things, in the episode Court Martial. And in 2285, it had been refitted in much the same way as the motion picture Enterprise had been refitted, and it was assigned to assist Carol Marcus and Project Genesis. And while
Give me Genesis!
Yes. So, while Marcus and her team worked on the Regular 1 space station, which is the worst name for any space station ever in the history of anything, it's a regular one. I'm always having a regular one. Yes. Anyway, so yes, it would be hunting for lifeless planets to test the Genesis project on. On Stardate 8130. The Reliant approached SETI Alpha 6, did a scan of the planet, and that's when Tyrrell and his first officer, Pavel Chekhov,
Never forget the face.
you never get the face, even though I never saw you in the original series.
Yeah, but that argument doesn't work because he could easily have been off shift in his quarters or on another job with another task, not actually on the bridge at the time.
No, haven't you heard the actual excuse? This comes from Walter Koenig himself. He says this at conventions. He says what happens was he just come out of a toilet right in front of Khan, and he hadn't left any toilet paper.
There you go.
That's why I never forget the face, Mister.
He tasks me. He tasks.
Yeah. Nice. Anyway, so after taking over the ship, Khan basically slaughtered most of the crew of the regular one space station. And they didn't have a regular one anymore. And yes, basically then went on a massive rampage after the USS Enterprise, eventually coming to a untimely end due to a small case of exploding and death. And yeah, due to a small yet significant weapon called the Genesis device, which was detonated in the Mutara Nebula and created the planet Genesis out of seemingly thin air.
Not only the planet, but the sun as well.
Yeah, the sun as well. But no, you could argue that was already in the nebula. But there you go. We'll not talk about.
Fortunately, the Genesis isn't actually part of a Alliance, so you're fine.
Yes.
Fine.
It's not going to feature in science.
Yes.
No, but it might feature in weaponry.
Well, in that case, then you have to take it for science. You can have one or the other.
Yep.
Well, I'll take it.
Yeah.
I'll take it for weaponry if it gives me crap science. I can live with that. Seriously, because I think what I'll gain on firepower, loss in science won't matter. So, yes, the ship did have the tactical advantage over the Enterprise at the time in the battle. Unfortunately, due to Khan's ineptitude and thinking that space, much like the ILM people, space was basically flat and everything had to be pointing the right way up. He basically got outmaneuvered and died. So the Miranda class came in two variants. Now I just get to here. It was one of Starfleet's most successful classes. The Miranda class began its life in the 23rd century, and in the case of in the case of a number of different shows, it was shown to have this crossbar at the top. But later variations would give it different versions of that crossbar, and some would remove it entirely. The USS Britannia, for example, had a sort of sleek-backed version, and the USS Lantry had one completely removed altogether. And then the USS Saratoga had a roll bar with side-mounted weaponry, so it was very, very adaptable. AKA, it was a cheap model to refit for for TV. What else can I tell you? The ship itself, in behind the scenes, the USS Reliant was originally going to be a Constitution class, and was going to be sort of like the equivalent, the sort of dark reflection of Kirk's Enterprise. Fortunately, the director, Nicholas Meyer, turned around and said, actually, I don't think anyone's going to be able to tell the difference in the nebula scenes, and so they had to rebuild it. And it was, as we've mentioned a number of times tonight, a kit bash. Literally hastily thrown together model.
It begins.
Yes. Literally thrown together to make a new ship in a hurry. But frankly, so the nacelles were off of a second Enterprise, and the dish was off a second Enterprise, and then the rest was just kind of bashed together to sort of hold it all together. Right, well, I think we're going to go round and round in circles on this, because...
Like I say, you didn't mention it was originally meant to be the other way up as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I was getting to that, but it wasn't really... It doesn't really matter anyway. Yeah, so it's upside down, basically. And whether or not it's upside down because it's supposed to be upside down, or whether it's because they put the saucer on upside down, is up for debate. But yes, if you turn the Reliant upside down, it's just basically a Constitution without a neck. Right. Which kind of fits with what was going on stylistically anyway with the Oberth class as well, because that didn't have a neck either, which is another stupid design. But we'll get to that another day. Right, so shall we rate this bugger then?
Do it.
Okay, well, it's a standard Miranda class, so its length, misses, is 237 meters. Though it is mentioned somewhere else that it's got another one's got it down as sort of 233, and another one's got it down as 400 meters. But seeing as two of them are close enough to 233 for our scaling points, I'd say that was about right. So that would give us a 2, I believe.
Duh.
Right. So we quite easily with the speed. We can go sublight is 5.
Yeah.
FTL is 2.
Yeah.
And maneuverability. Now it's down to the sort of slow, chuggy. It's not as maneuverable as the... Well, actually, I'd say it was more as maneuverable, if not slightly more maneuverable than the Excelsior. But not
I'd say
enough to
your
push...
Trek capital ship sort of area,
Yes,
so I'd say 3-ish.
Yeah, I was going to say... I wasn't going to say a 4. I was going to say 3, but...
Yeah, 3's quite all right, you know. It's
So, firepower. Now, it's a standard Trek ship, so we are talking about a 3. But we do have a small matter... well, actually, it's a 4, sorry. But... what we do have is a very small missile which can do a very large amount of damage to a planet and, in fact, possibly an entire nebula.
Point of
Doesn't
order.
really come equipped with it, though.
It doesn't come
does it?
equipped
No,
with it.
he just
and,
picks it up.
Yeah.
It doesn't come equipped with it, so now we're talking
No.
about whether or not it comes as standard fresh out the box.
Pretty much.
Yeah. When it launched, did it have a Genesis device attached to it? No.
And could you take the Genesis device and put it on the Enterprise? I mean, that has that.
Yeah, but he didn't.
But
And if you're going to argue that, then I argue that half the ships that are on this thing got refitted with other weaponry and stuff
yes,
throughout
but
the...
the Genesis device is a self-contained thing. It is not part of the Reliant. He took it
It's
from...
the equivalent of a passenger.
It gets beamed aboard wherever you're going to launch it.
Well, in which case...
Passengers don't count as
In
crew.
which case...
Genesis device doesn't count as firepower.
Well, in which case, if we're going to do that, then we can't count it on science either, can we?
No, we can't. Like I said,
No,
you can have it on one
I
and not the
agree.
other.
That's fair
Yeah,
enough.
That's fair, but we're not going to give you a
pass
kicking
on
for
science.
that. But I don't think you can have it for firepower, I'm afraid.
Now that to me,
Sorry.
yeah, no, that's fine. I'm just going through my list of ships that I'm looking at right now with things like the Red Dwarf with its Hollyhop drive, which weren't as it came out of the box. If
Yes,
I
but
remember
with the
correctly.
Hollyhop drive, it was built. It was fitted to the ship. I mean,
It was
there was
still
cables
a
going into it.
Bollocks! Oh,
You
sorry,
want it on.
sorry. Hold on. So 5 seconds ago we had the conversation that it wasn't fitted with it, and now it's fitted with it. It's okay. Do you not? So
I don't see. The thing is, the Hollyhop drive is installed into the ship. You have to fit it to the ship. You have to plug it in. The Genesis torpedo sits on your transporter pad. It can sit in your cabin. It can sit in the bed. It can go and sit on the rock. It isn't part of the ship. This is the fucking warp engines all over again.
No, but hold on. And the detonation device was built into the console.
It is not. Yeah, and the console you can wheel around. It's on fucking coasters.
It's true.
It's like one of those bloody trolleys they push through the airplane.
You want something from the trolley?
Yeah.
Is it on the trolley?
Yeah,
yeah.
It's exactly one of those.
All right, fine. Well, we'll just ignore that then, in which case we're going to be down the middle on this one. So then it's a 4 for firepower, because it's basically phaser banks and torpedo tubes all over the place, pretty much like the Enterprise, because it was supposed to be equivalent of the Enterprise. Yep. Are we agreed with that?
Yep.
So that's a 4 then. Right, okay. Active defense, none. And passive defense, we have a 3 for shit shields, Trek shields, and then special. Well, we can't have Genesis, so it's got nothing. So that's a big fat 0. Size of the crew. Well, the crew, according to Memory Alpha, was in the 30s. So that's not a lot. So that's just like a 3.
Is that all?
Mm.
Yeah,
I thought it would add
35
more than
tops.
that.
Yeah. It didn't have a very large crew, which is how Khan was able to take it over, which I think is kind of one of those things where people sort of backtracked it. Because elsewhere, the Miranda class apparently can hold like fucking 360 people.
Yeah, because I mean, it's not that much smaller than the Enterprise, is it? I mean, the saucers are about the same size.
It could hold 360 people in Miranda class, but apparently in the case of Wrath of Khan, so that like 15 space hippies and an old man can take over, it apparently doesn't.
we do have to just very, very briefly just address that point. How come Khan's the only one that's actually aged?
Shut up. That's why. So yeah. Also, it's also worth mentioning that according to Memory Alpha and to Memory Beta as well, its maximum warp speed was 11. But let's not get there either.
No, don't
They
go
didn't
there.
turn into Newton, mate.
No.
No, this was back when it was doing the shit. What's the rock band? Spinal Tap. This was the Spinal Tap level of warp where it went up to 11 because you just changed the number on the dial.
Yeah. So anyway, crew is 3, basically. Competence. Well, it doesn't work out either way, really.
Yeah, I was going to ask who did you want, but yeah,
Doesn't
either way.
really matter because you've either got the yours is the superior intellect superhumans who can't work out how to change a password, or you've got Captain Tyrrell who beams down himself and his first officer, which basically makes up a significant proportion of his crew.
Yeah.
And even then, they don't even bother to look out of a window to see that there's a spaceship on the ground.
I know. It's bad.
Look, I'll tell you. Look. If you take Khan
Yeah.
and not Tyrrell, I'd be willing to give you a 4 based on the initial kind of fucking up the Enterprise. The thing that really...
I only got 3. You're
Yeah,
not
that's-
more than 3.
This Chang, an experienced fucking commander, stands there and lets the thing. Khan is, what, was it 100, 200
He
years?
tasks me.
Yeah.
He's
He
200
could
years
have
earlier.
had work, and he was all sort of, no, I must have my pride and my
Yeah, and
shit.
that's...
However-
yes.
however-
His hubris did him out.
However, it is worth mentioning that even Captain Whingy Pants, they all sat there. They all sat there and basically tried to counteract Khan and say, no, this has got to happen this way. We're damaged. We got to retreat.
I think 4 would be
So-
completely fair. I mean, yes, he's inexperienced.
3,
No, 4.
Or
4.
under protest.
Noted and
If
ignored.
Protest
he
is
could lodge
noted
his
and ignored.
protest, I'm lodging mine.
Oh dear. Right. Okay. So exterior model realization. He says powering on regardless.
Yeah.
It's a curling iron.
It's a bloody nice looking ship and a model that's actually doesn't have a string attached to its fucking neck. It's a 5.
The fuck? No, it's a curling iron.
I like how me and Pete don't even get a say in this. You know?
No. No. This is no longer a democracy.
We've entered Black Dog territory.
No, it isn't.
5.
What? No?
Yeah.
No?
You're telling me the mod?
Curling iron.
Yeah. Look. Your weird shape recognition is nothing to do with me. And as
I
much
don't
as,
have an issue with shape recognition.
really, how do you find your way around a square? Find your way around a square.
I don't have a problem recognising that it is a square. I just can't find my way around it.
No further
I'm
questions,
being
Your
asked
Honour.
to find my way around this ship. I'm asked to comment on its shape. I've got no problem with shape recognition. It's a curling iron
Fine.
or a bedpan.
Wow. Wow. Anyway, moving swiftly on, the interior.
But now, what's Andy think?
What does Andy think? Andy, are you going to give this anything less than a 5?
I think in the interests of universal harmony, we should just move on.
Oh, dear. Right, okay. Interior. Well, we don't get to see anything other than basically a repurposed bridge, honestly, and a transporter pad.
Now, in all fairness, they did go to the trouble of taping over the displays with black masking tape.
And dangling some wires from the ceiling.
Yes. So, you know, they did do a bit of effort.
And there was some damn fine polystyrene girders that fell down.
Yeah.
I mean, I almost believed that they were no effort at all for Khan to pick up.
Yeah. I was going to ask for a 4, but only based on the fact that it's still a well-built bridge, whether or not it's the different bridge is a different thing. But then looking at the Deredex, I might ask for a 3, to be honest. Since it is just a bridge.
I think, it is a well-built bridge and a set, but it's the fact they didn't go around fixing the displays and stuff like that. And it's always bugged me when you watch it and you've got the
Enterprise display.
It's obviously the Enterprise's display with some. And it's not that difficult to swap those gels out.
No, not really. So that's a 3.
Yep.
Science. It's not Away with the Fairies with a black hole in the middle of it.
No.
I think it's the same
No
as the
cloaking
Excelsior
device?
would have had.
Yeah,
'cause,
I was going to say.
Yeah, I would agree with that. Whatever the Excelsior's got works. Yeah.
Cool, that's a 4. Okay, and cool factor. Well, I have to say it's got a big saucer. What do you want? I think even though it is a kit bash, and even though it paved the way for some terrible Trek designs, it is actually a unique ship. And using the same argument that Andy did for the Excelsior, it is a ship that, you know, looks like a Federation ship as soon as you see it. Doesn't matter which angle you see it from. I think it looks great. So I'm going to give it a 4.
Fuck all. It's either a curling iron or a bedpan.
Oh dear. To think
I'm giving it a 2.
Yep. Okay.
Ali, my old friend.
Here we go.
Do you know the Klingon proverb, revenge is a dish best served cold? It is very cold in space.
Yes. What am I
And
going
as much as I would love to have my vengeance on you, to revenge myself upon you, I can't in good conscience do that. So I will give you your 2.
Palastity! Right, okay, cool. So that's
And I've climaxed.
and I've come. Yeah. And that's an 8. So, brilliant. Which brings it to a draw with Chang's Bird of Prey.
Yeah.
46 points. There you go.
It's obviously the Nemesis score.
well, can we drop Nemesis, damn it?
Oh, not that Nemesis, as in the Nemesis.
Oh, man.
Okay.
I'm so looking forward to doing the Enterprise E just to really fuck with you guys.
Let's do the scimitar.
Oh, dear. Well, that's that. We've done it. We've made it to the end. Thank
And I don't think anyone's been murdered yet.
No. Thank God. So, just to recap, yes, the winner of this week's episode is actually Pete with 56.
Wow.
Second is Andy with the Excelsior,
Oh,
and in joint third is me and Anne-Marie bringing up the rear.
I'm going to come on with a better ship at some point in the future.
Yes.
Oh,
Yeah.
you're always welcome, Anne-Marie, anytime.
Yes.
Well,
Yeah.
I know the ship I want to bring on. It's a question of fitting it round your themes.
Oh, well, we can have a little discussion off air and see when we can fit you in.
Oh,
Cool.
God almighty.
Sorry, and yeah, expect a really long cast because that's just me. Sorry.
It's cool. It's cool. I'm not editing it. Andy?
Doesn't bother me in the slightest.
Right. So, that's that. Let's move on. Next time when we return, we will be bringing... What ships, guys? Because my brain's gone fried.
It's the Invasion of Earth special, is it not?
It is. It's We Don't Come in Peace special. And so we will be bringing spaceships which have invaded the Earth in one
Your mileage
form.
might vary with that. I mean, some of them weren't necessarily very successful in invading Earth, but they tried.
Well,
And that's the important thing.
yeah, exactly. It's the well done you, God bless you.
Yes.
So, Andy, what are you bringing?
I'll be honest with you. I'm currently torn.
Yeah.
It's either going to be the planet-destroying spaceships from Independence Day, or tack, 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 tack.
Well, you're either going to get on the scoreboard or you're not.
Yeah.
You put it in plain terms. Which one would you like to do?
I think I'm going to save tack, tack for a more entertaining episode. So we'll go with the Independence Day ships.
Okay.
Plus, we've got Resurgence coming out possibly before we record. I don't know.
Yeah.
But,
we'll see how it works.
Yeah.
And Pete, what are you bringing?
I'm bringing the Dalek spaceship from Dalek Invasion of Earth 2150 with the old Peter Cushing playing the part, the Doctor.
Okay. And
I just want to say, I'm thinking your competence might suffer a bit.
Possibly.
And I will be bringing the Goa'uld spaceships, the motherships from Stargate SG-1, most notably Apophysis spaceship.
Apophis.
Apophis.
I believe they're called Bahataks.
Yes. So, yes, it's, yeah. So,
So what we're doing is it's circles, triangles, and salt shakers.
yeah, basically. Anne-Marie,
Yes?
thank you for being here.
Thank you for making your cast twice as long as it normally is. Hey.
So, yes. So I'd just like to say thank you to everyone for listening. If you have any thoughts, comments on this podcast episode, go join us on the Facebook group, which is facebook.com/groups/SpaceDocJury, or join us on Twitter, which is @SpaceDocJury. And
we promise we're done with the Ready Room stuff on there. Honestly, I'm going to get back to Spaceships of the Day.
Mm-hmm.
And no more X-Bomber on the Twitter.
Oh no, he's been told about that.
Oh,
Yeah.
good.
He's been punished.
I've been good.
He's been punished. And there shall be no more. So yes, so join us next time for Space Dock Invasion Earth. Yeah. Big ships coming to destroy the world.
Do you all want to pimp your wares, such as they are?
Oh yes, yeah. Go on, Pete.
Well, yes, if you want to hear more about Star Trek, which after tonight,
You may or may not.
Yep.
we do indeed do the broadcast over on Geek Planet Online and iTunes.
Mm-hmm. And you can find me on the Black Dog podcast, which is blackdog.geekplanetonline.com, and on iTunes. And God knows what we'll be reviewing by the time this comes out.
And the only other place you can hear me is on the Gorm Free podcast with Mr. McManus, which is at rogue2.com.
Brilliant. We've pimped our wares. Everyone's gone home.
No one's murdered anyone.
No one's murdered anyone.
And
No
I
one's
need the
detonated.
toilet.
Okay.
He's actually doing a dance. He's doing
Okay.
the dance of I need a wee.
Yes. Do the Bracknock. Do the dance of
We can
joy.
dance if you want to.
Yeah. You can leave your friends behind. And if
Goodbye.
Bye.
Bye.
Space Dock Jury is a production of Three Angry Beards for GeekPlanetOnline.com.